my hatchet tat? Or cause me and my fellas got matching tats? Is it because we like to help and be scrubs? Must be thugs out here peddling drugs. But let me tell you, all that meddling does is makes us wanna leave you embedded in slugs. Free speech, motherfucker. Check this out. I want some pussy, or I'ma shoot a cop in the mouth. Bang guts hang like a wicked video game. It's all the same, it's entertainment, and it ain't for the lame. They can't get us, so they come for those who walk with us. Punish you for representing, make you wanna forget us. That's what we get, cause we ain't corporate. Made and doing well, so they damn us to hell and degrade us. That's what made us. They say the world hate us. For 20 years I've been getting paid. The boss call me an old man, I call me long dick paid. Young sweet baby Violent J never gets played. New America, goddamn retarded, so I walk around with a mouth full of shit, spitting shit in the face of Lady Liberty. Pushing swiftly through these days in a black T-100, looking like I'm straight up off the Batcave. Government to investigate, so I take the windows looking too close. We'll get you sketched no residential neighborhoods on high alert for the insane clowns. Anybody killing you get twisted and bound and set ablaze and murdered. Dummy, the code's 187, don't just doubles every second. Who's the weapon? I am the ROC, a house full of skinny jeans. I've kept the debris. I'm a disease and a kill for you seeking healthy disease. A resurrection from the click. We will stay up underground, salute. We'll never let them cocksuckers put us on mute. Shoot the booth as a star. I walk to heaven.
Underground salute. What the fuck this nigga talking about?
You can't sell our game. Fuck you and your claim. We don't bang. I put this say fuck a bitch. I spit gangster shit. I've been federally indicted. I'm a killer from the West. Don't test. 187. The psychopathic. I come through shit down. No bitch up now. I specialize in moving big dope and letting off rounds. So fuck the FBI. You know why? They took 41 months of my life. That's why I ride and do or die. Hustle worldwide. Kick your door and hit you for your guap and back to the west side. No witnesses of bloody homicide. Cause believe me when I step, ain't nobody gonna let me.
Oh fuck, I should have put dictators part.
I got the balls and virus like that cheese. So catch me in the old school classic weapon and juggalos and everybody down with the hatchet. That's just for the fools, be for bringing bullshit. It's my reply, so yes, I feel included. Time really ain't changed. Fans say strange. Music is the devil in the artist is the brain. Chuckalo I roll, underground I show. Family is forever, so the family will grow. I'm the FBI, full-blooded Indian. Back ready to ride, native pride once again. It's official. I had to go buy a new pistol, just in case I hit a pig's whistle. Pull me over for a fucking purpose, not because you're worthless. Feeling like a criminal because I'm spitting verses. Doctors, lawyers, dads and moms, representing Juggalo.
The only official emails I get from anything is the United Nations Economic and Social Development or whatever. Fucking waste of time. They had webinars like today, tomorrow. We'll talk about all the important work they do. Talk about it.
I want to see your balls spit all over the place. You were covered in all this toxic, no cure, antibiotics. You think we are so sick? We know you're neurotic. A pill of psychotic. The trick is more chronic. Bitch, you talking all that jazz that's exotic. You can't hurt our name. You can't sell our game. Fuck you and your claim. We don't bang. Watch me blast off, laughing my ass off, calling us a gang, y'all high off bath salts. We hot as asphalt, they watching us on every level. What if they told you that you can't listen to heavy metal? What if they told you that you had to listen to the devil? Fuck what they tell you, we some rebels, so they persecute. We don't conform to policies, so they hurt the youth. Cause we free thinking, smoking, free drinking. They wanna catch us sleeping, we ain't even blinking. Fuck the feds on my life, they some suckers. I really think they mad cause they wives wanna fuck us. The government don't wanna see me on some psycho shit. It's worse than the freeway sniper mixed with Michael Vick. Now they all fuck, wanna catch us in a twist. J. Edgar Hoover, you can suck a motherfucking dick. And we stop
no irony.
Whatsoever.
I was new to the game, before the songs and the videos and the screaming the name, before the diamond crusted hatchet, man, it swung from the chain, and I was bringing the business and all the tricks of the train. Learn to live it like I spit it, it's a family affair. A million painted faces in the crowd with hands in the air. A hint of love is from above and the devil rightly beneath, but the evil stares and shit, so we can never compete. They wanna take us out the game and even call it a game, checking for tattoos and cars, sticking study and slang. Man, it's amazing how ridiculous the shit has became. Hoping the product go away, but ours are strong and the same. It's only greater if anything, the low
line stepper, a criminal rhyme shredder, put a gun, get y'all, and make the world better. But instead, I just shoot with a cheddar. I can make you Pearl Jam, and in my waist, the Eddie Vedder, looking for more than a bad rapper. I'm never like Birdman, baby. I'm so cash money, and the feds wanna ruin all that. Now that's funny. I put a 5-hole in the 5-0, and I'm liable to emulate the face of a killer for my survival. Lying vitals, and I'm dangerous and labeled a psycho. That ain't even the reason they want to keep us from the mic, though. My freedom of speech is what I would die for. FBI's my lifelong rival. Crosshairs, and in the scope of my rifle. You can't hold our name. You can't sell our game. Fuck you and your claim. We don't bang. We're family. You can't hurt our name. You can't sell our game. Fuck you and your claim. We don't bang. We're family. Welcome to Mi'kmaq Matters, a podcast about Mi'kmaq people, politics, land, and water. I'm Glenn Wheeler.
What else is there? People, politics, land, water.
Support independent Mi'kmaq media. Become a Mi'kmaq Matters patron at patreon.com/Mi'kmaq Matters. We thank you for your financial support.
Yeah, I wouldn't know we owned $250 million worth of a seafood lobster.
This past Thursday, Mi'kmaq Matters was in Port-au-Port East for a meeting of the Port-au-Port Bay Fishery Committee.
What is this one?
A special guest at the meeting was Bill Bryden of the Newfoundland and Labrador Coalition for Aquaculture Reform. Bill Bryden gave a graphic slide presentation outlining the environmental impact of marine net pen salmon farms of the sort that have been set up in Newfoundland. Impacts including breeding with wild salmon when fish escape, pollution from the toxic additives in salmon feed pellets, as well as from antibiotics used to control disease in the salmon, and from pesticides to control sea lice.
Used to control disease.
Newfoundland has very lax regulation of
there's linguistic differences there.
As in other resource sectors,
white people
the
say it like it's
provincial
a
government
fact.
uses
It
low standards
controls
as a
it.
competitive advantage to attract operations
It's
that
like
would
people
not be
say you've
allowed
been making
elsewhere.
rolling papers 200
Many of
fucking
the
years, and
agriculture
you keep
operations
leaving the
are based
glue
on the
off.
South Coast.
Who needs
Changes
glue?
in traditional
We'll pay
fisheries
for it.
make survival for
Fucking
residents and
retards.
communities
I've
very
never
difficult.
met a white person that wasn't
But
retarded.
there's growing resistance to
Every
marine
fucking product I
aquaculture
buy that's fucked
in
up
Newfoundland
is from
and
white
elsewhere.
people. I can't
The
believe this
Port-au-Port
shit.
Bay Fishery Committee
It's
is one of
half-ass
the
weed, but he
applicants in
buys
the
it off
case
white
currently
people.
before the Supreme Court of Newfoundland and Labrador. The case involves an expansion plan for the Indian
You
hen
know where white
hatchery.
drug dealers get their
nearby
drugs from?
Stephenville.
Blacks and Indians.
The expansion would result in a 50% increase in capacity.
And a few
But
Asians,
despite the
doesn't know
size of
that.
the expansion and the problems associated with marine aquaculture, there has been no environmental assessment. And that's because of a legal loophole that's being challenged in the case. The challenge was filed by Equal Justice, Canada's largest environmental law charity. Sarah McDonald is one of the lawyers on the case. I reached her in Hallam.
I'm riding around the city with a stick of sticky icky, no complaining, speed
You fucking idiots, and then these 3 fucking cigarettes smell one pack. It's expanded tobacco. Real cool native smoking.
I see these bitches sucking, man. These wannabe rappers
If you
talking
fucking
shit.
still
She
can
had
tell it's
better
already
take
been
a
smoked
note.
and it's fucking
Money
brand
come
new
up steady,
shit.
rising some up. Y'all be steady hiding. I'm colliding, slipping, sliding to your hoe.
no piano. These rappers flying like they Lucky Luciano. They don't know that I'm a goddamn bad. And when you see me, best believe I read in black, that's Scotland. I turn yell in the ghost, eat them like Pac-Man. No games for you out in trash cans, no shame. You want blow, that's Snow White. That cocaine got your nose red like strawberries from show dice. I get money and sit back and post vein, chill deep and for real creep on yo Dane. That heat leave you with no sleep and no brain. Then you awake with no sneaks and no chain. A black sneak getting shiggity. You know Ray, a fast life living, but still dealing with.
You're all gonna prove to me that you're gonna do it your way, didn't work. You're all gonna prove it. Every last one of you. We leave natives on the ground just like white people there. We don't bury nuts in. We don't bury nuts in. You're native, but it equates to mutt. You calling me white, but you won't address royal African bloodline. Right. I'm white. You're a mutt. Native is not. It's a registered trademark. You can't use it.
They don't like it. Yeah, I bet. See the pain in their heart and their chest. I love the rain when it falls, yeah, I'm blessed. Fuck the pain and the cars and the jets. I had them thinking I was gone to the sight. I never let them live the life we would die for. I tell her, oh, I can't save her, I'm the lifeguard. Maybe you can get the deed, but I might charge. Pull up to the spot, they're like, who is that? Hands up, give me the loot like a cashier. What you thought? Are you dumb? I don't play shit. I killed you and your brother with the same clip. All that bullshit you've been talking, boys, ain't shit. I'm a different man now, leave your face. While she said it, I'ma get that finish. I be sinning, I be sitting, I'm winning. They don't like it, yeah, I bet. I see the pain in their heart and their chest. While she said it, I'ma get that spinach. I be sinning, I'm winning. They don't like it, yeah, I bet. I see the pain in their heart and their chest, yo. Versus spot, then I'm leaving unidentified. Just a rental, had to drop it off at Enterprise. Shell casings in the whip, had to check it twice. I think my OGs for that shit, they give good advice. Yeah, this about to be a genocide. These motherfuckers will be dead, but I can never die. I'm the reason why your wifey said she met a guy. 2 minutes in a swisher just to get inside. Yeah, we are not the same kind. You gotta pay dues, I already paid twice. Y'all don't make moves, all you do is waste time. I'ma always be woke while you haters stay blind. While she said it, I'ma get that spinach. I be sinning, I'm winning. They don't like it, yeah, I bet. I see the pain in their heart and their chest. While she said it, I'ma get that spinach. I be sinning, I'm winning. They don't like it, yeah, I bet. I see the pain in their heart and their chest.
People want to sell the shittiest weed at the highest possible price and then short the camera. And they complain when people tell them it doesn't work that way. Oh, you're complaining. Well, everybody's going to complain.
Yeah.
The Black Snake.
Kids only want to be gigs, they want to be rap. How'd that work out for you? You maintained your web presence. Somebody hacked it. I'll feel better in a minute.
Excited as official, banging out an issue. Just got fucked, waiting on the whistle. My track bangs loud like a pistol. One bullet turn a nigga to a cripple. Mind's not stable, body's not able to hold it. So I ease down
Black Mustang Cobra with the Cobra CB radio and the Cobra radar detector.
When we're in motion, from the day I got my flow, it got stolen. Young niggas, fuck niggas, hazy like the omen. Leave it wide open, cushion up, bullshit. Like niggas riding up, 7 in the morning. Catch a wally on it, walk right on it. Knock him out his legs is late, and it's shorted. They don't got stripes, cause they fighting just to earn it. They don't got bridges in my city, cause they burn them. With the white cheese, who they hire for
my soldiers. It's all the work, yeah, that shit like a controller. Niggas like this, calling me, I'm just a general, defending my soldiers.
Oh yeah.
It's all the work,
Yeah.
Controller.
Niggas lying, see they riding in a hat. Till I ran up on these niggas for the scotch. If I let it clap, he ain't never coming back. I was that drunk, I ain't never going back. Take a walk on my block, it's constant. Welcome to the block, every nigga's boxed in. Done by the boxes, houses like trenches. 80-year-old men buying work with their pension. I remember running from detention, now running from the bullpen. And the what's detention? 2014 chains looking like a lemon. Doing what is getting crack, nigga, I sell it. She want an escort, she an expert. Miley Cyrus, when she famous for the aspirin. She only shake it, she ain't no dancer. 40 hanging and it look like her back hair. Pussy cat all black, call her cancer. Bustin' wide open, I don't need a password. 40 still smoking, ain't worried about cancer. Worried about drugs, guns, money, and the clout.
Niggas like this, calling me a cobra. I'm just a general, defending.
I should have shuffled it. This will work.
Gunshot liquor filter. 50 drum beating like so 50. I'm Trinidad where my boy smoke a coca. Your homie got hit, he was riding like a chauffeur. Planet of the Apes, I was blood clot coca. Pop pop, come with a strap, swing off the shoulder. In the coffin, shutting the letters, giving you closure. You ever get close, something coming out the holster. People ride the train, they're gonna see you on a poster. We poster, but you never tackle when we approach. Get the blind, go online, and now you're doing the most. Kill him in my yard, nigga, like I could host. Didn't notice they pull guns when you thought you could roast. Use a dose. Know you love niggas, need some milligrams. Sitting with a milli, he be posting it on Instagram. Them dust heads love me, selling quarters out the kilogram. Chrome polish so good, swear I used to pillow back, baby. Fried chicken, oxtail gravy, shaking up the crown like an earthquake in Haiti. Stop trying to rap, it's like how you niggas don't save me, you got it. Metro still trying to play me. They said I wasn't sick, but I'm sick though. Give you gangster rap, our calypso. We never stop eating like it's a pit bull. And young boy can't stop squeezing, he got his we with the hammers. Shredding in the kitchen, chicken like Louisiana. Killer like Diana. I go to sleep with a rifle in my pajamas. I was childish, but my Gambino no Atlanta.
Louisiana chicken or kitchen fleur de lis. What I was looking for. That's the line I was looking for.
Man, them niggas that we beefing is so lame. My home with them clips, my gun black and I spit like old days. 4 white boys let it sing like Coldplay. I sat back and got a flashback on my old ways. Like 30 shots spin the fucking chopper. He got shot but shot back and couldn't see the doctor. Nigga bled up, cause nigga how was fed up. Remembering the day my brother got it, couldn't get up. So I went and got a Mac 11, send me just to wet up. And 2 bad light-skinned bitches for the setup. My city getting crazy and nigga. Moms losing their babies, I know the pain to have to carry my nigga. To a place to yet to bury my nigga. Fuck, but since then, we got a couple heads to bury the trigger. It's like what I keep a gun for. Cause in these streets it's a blood sport. Not to mention links from the gun store. You shouldn't have brought him here. They're catching bodies here. As soon as niggas slap that metal on that polymer. I need no one, I'm blasted by myself. And I'll keep beating metal to the plastic on the nose.
Oh well, I'm sick as hell. Are you sick as well? We are part of the sick cell.
Sit your little bitch ass down, nigga. Please, let's do it. Can't spell bro without the AR. Vote me for mayor. Taking helicopters down with a little laser. And the cannon, I'm holding big and a fucking mega. Yaga, the liquor put the shots to make you stagger. To my little brother, cause like he loves my partners. Real body boy, broad baby, y'all watch. With this empire, it's nothing like rocks. These are enemy lines, nobody can cross. I'm just looking for rappers and in a battle with partners, triple digits. So clips like a bitch's wig stiction. Murder gang sick shit. Got me reading the word. This is my victim.
going to make law matter.
Which one is that? There's a bass guitar.
They trying to throw a gun on me. It's only allegations. If it was mine, it was in case they tried to run on me. 3 to 5 is what they asking, but I won't fight today. Got a little daughter to raise, so I'ma fight the case. When I got that phone call, man, I couldn't top that lock. You an angel, I'm waiting that wooden box. That's a vision I could never remove. And if I go, it's cause I'm dancing with the devil in the heavenly mood. That's like mixing water with oil and crippling with the blood in there. Fuck this game shit. I just really want my brother back. I want that joy put.
Oh, no. Hey, yo, Stick. Yo, check this shit out.
They told me them wicks.
Over here fucking with TF Travis and Floyd. I'm gonna block them there. Drinking. It's the other phone.
Hey, my arm hurts. Hey, it's 437 o'clock. Well, I don't trust me. How you doing? It's a 437 phone number. It's 2 minutes. Bro. Come on, chill.
I gotta go back to my house now. For what? Ain't there no good time? Man, you been looking for me. What I do? Got the gun. It's a wrap.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides just on Crip, nigga. Gang banging that Crip shit. Niggas calling up cause of them blue shades. My people still was riding behind and then no nigga pulling up in no new rave. It was cool to that gang raid. Now these tough guys just never act right. Blood can fill a whole bathtub. Let these blood brothers get baptized. Blacklisted on the bad guy, plus some dark skin, so I'm the black guy. Never see me like black eyes. We still pack cannons at shack size. Niggas swear they a man. Know the light skin brother like, really what you talking about? Niggas say you in the can. Try to kill him on the chat, let the people still chop him up. I ain't trust anybody that'll walk around. Popcorn, only reason that they popping up. Niggas strings on my shoes like crocodiles. They know they fucking with me like a crocodile. Gang. Girl, enough shit that you never been a part of. I know niggas I got waiting for the startup. D-Rose and they ain't even put his gutter. Not one person goes hot for the city, got a mainstream level. Talk about the top of that's product. Show me if they ever seen a bike that is hot up. Knock me up, mad that I got him. CCP ring like a nigga just a product. Think you styling and you could just see him in his product. Big gun bust from a nigga like a marker. Party next door, I need a shot in a barker. Tell Jay Prince I don't give a fuck, yo. Fighting for a rap with a cut though. Quitting in a round and a touch flow. But they agree to keep it on the hush though.
I'm blued up, I'm crewed up. For the F43G, I'm shoot up. Any nigga that really want it, I'ma bomb it. 32 shots, these skeletons up the closet. You don't wanna be back down with your belly up. 4 double law niggas hopping on the heavy truck. We give bullets, but niggas don't give any bucks. Mac gang auto, but I'll show you how to semi-buck. Type of strap, you may need to get rid of me. Really take headshots, so who's guillotine? You ain't know I really bang in these streets. Got heat from the west, but I'll bang in the east, nigga. Crip. I rep a gang that you never been a part of. I put that on my mother and I put that on my daughter. If you just one of my brothers, then your blacks gonna shine up. I'm like Welvin, yelling out God, so you ain't gotta ask Biggie Smalls who shot him. I got a Biggie pump that'll work when I pop up. Had to move work in the slums just to guap up. Now I hit the club till the bartender top up. The slacks well, so for lock, you'll get shot up. Now I hit the club till the bartender top up. The slacks well, so for lock, you'll get shot up.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides just on.
The heart is out and I ain't gonna quit. I'm a killer and the streets is my
Is it carbon tax or carbon dioxide?
I'm here to make a statement, but fuck making statements. This a fucking promise. Heard niggas want my head. These niggas solid. I'm running in, I'm charging on the whips like Black Stallion. I am with the rest of them. Fuck a Steve Austin. He can never stone cold stunner this Lawson. Got bitches, you my shit. And start praying. Other niggas hating and they wishing they were on it. Then they start switching and snitching to the sergeant. My niggas got bands in their pants. No wallet. Just like our fans go to George Brown College. And little fans who can barely speak English. 30-year-old OGs and girlies and great tips. Fans with no homes. Even the rich kids. Niggas bumping Ronnie and whips. Rapping 10 tips. Listen to a quick 16 before they shoot shit. Sit on one stick. Ronnie's running the district. Homie, you don't want no beef. You got the movement. The boys, they don't got no aim. The shooter's useless. I'm too sick. Barrel long like a full stick. You will need 2 hands just to use it. Put it to his lips and lick. No smoking. We don't give tips. Hollow tips to the tip top. Put it to your kicks. Turn your boots into flip flops. Cut cabbage patch niggas into coleslaw. She don't even want no dick. She wants Ronda. Talking to me like I'm the rest. And I'm an NCAR. My goonies, they be pulling up bombs. No swanton. Shooting with my left arm. Ain't even my strong arm. Still get him cut. Way quicker than the backside. I'm a boss and I work in Hell's Kitchen. So if you fuck up or move fuck, I start kissing. Team full of boss men. But people are amazing. Fans are the greatest. For them, I'll do the next shit. In the studio, gonna work, no vacation. R.I.P. Tyson, I don't gotta say shit. You already know who's riding when they need hits. Back to my right shit, trying to make the Forbes list. Movies all posted, holding, hoping that I will try it. Put the red wing on your tits and start firing. 3 flicks, 3 buck, niggas wiring.
What if I just keep chickens in here? Can you stop? You can't stop me from having chickens in here. You keep quiet. Why don't we have chicken coops and greenhouses and shit in these buildings? It's retarded.
I hope you have your offerings close, bundled tight, and in plain sight.
Yo, come along, follow the mad, my controller who will hold you like a stiff dick, will work you like a fake trick. I'm crazy pack the shit, it's getting ill sick, and deck out the verbs, nigga, it's the big nicks. Coming fat from the vats of black wax, in fact, I cramp stacks of acts upon your shelves, so fans can help themselves, I prove my record sales. Move along, cause yo, there ain't no pausing, I'm causing catastrophe. I hate to be the one coming after the black dick dastardly. I heat them up even in winter. I spin it for Guinness. I meet new pussies for dinner, but just remember, I ain't no downtown clown. I run the mellow ass sounds, the real shit, boy, straight from the dead ground. Five for five, wanted dead or alive. For three soft potatoes with sour cream and chives. No job. If I was you, I'd come through and catch a dose of my straight technique. Straight from Suicide Street. I work a beat like a cop. Trash at pawn shops. Front city trends, cause I'm giving niggas speed knots. Yeah, there ain't no frontin' on the fact. I said the deadly in my habitat like a Venus fly trap. I run the Jeep ass sounds. I'm putting real shit down. So check shorty. Straight from the dead ground.
Just right.
Your dead land kids, dirty beers for niggas with Papa Hash. Digger, stash, know what I'm saying? I'm out the range like stank on sewage. If your record ain't out by now, you
fucking blew it. I ain't here to welcome faggot imitations. I smother brothers and watch them fade from that suffocation. I got shorties in every versatile corners, while styles wreck trash like super vets doing donuts. Chill out on post at the Barbary Coast where queens be on the scenes in less than apple scenes. I do my tracks like country blacks, ain't fat back, doper than a sack of crack, question answer back, no question.
The worst idea in the fucking world. You couldn't just put one straw, you made multiple parts to this straw, and still doesn't.
To let you know your assets was dropped on the rocket set. Checks, they are.
I can't even get it into the garbage can to put away. It still blew somewhere else. It blew 3 feet away. This is how you're going to solve the problem. They donated. I better keep that. I won't be able to prove it existed. I better keep that. I have old straw. I need that. I need to prove this. Oh, you can't push it back. What the hell?
Jump in the water, speed that flow, don't go against that flow, speed that flow, jump in that water, speed that flow, don't go against that flow, speed that flow, just jump in that water, speed that flow, just speed that flow, jump in that water, speed that flow, speed that flow, don't go against it, speed that flow, jump in that water. Be that flow, just be that flow, be that flow, jump with that water, be that flow, just be that flow, don't go against it, be that flow, just be that flow, don't go against it, be that flow, jump with that water, be that flow.
Slice a piece up in the Dutch pot, curry chicken on the stove top, shout out niggas from the stove top, niggas talk but send a gunshot,
Fly actors up from my pictures hood, the place run down but it's shit from good, shout out niggas at a drip foot, the shit's way beyond drip blood.
Toronto born and raised, Toronto born and raised, they was never ready every single day, you would be amazed. Living how we live, young niggas grinding stuck up in a maze. Told my nigga Charlie we can get this money, make it different ways.
We don't call it no shit, nah, we ain't calling no bitch. But I got a full clip and I better no rich. I just better with bit, and they get over kids. You know that I bitch niggas. Lift them up, how I bitch niggas. Better get back on that defense, nigga. But it's gonna run even stench, nigga. I guess we on the offense.
Charlie like Jordan, Scottie Pippen, better listen on a mission, wishing, hoping that we find a way to beat the competition.
Niggas snitching, cotton picking, walk with bitches, talking different. You know, slipping back to business. Wait, let me slow it down now. Still full circle, I go around. Wait,
never thought my city was a murder town. Ride like a dungeon dragon. Ran from the cops and my pants were hanging. Used to do dirt in a station wagon. Getting locked up in the station flagging.
03, I got to raise the magnum. Bringing out the beast like a Hugh Jackman. Join the team like some new draftsmen. They get the rope like how they do in Hangman. Jump in the water, just be that flow. Don't go against that flow. Just be that flow, just be that flow. Jump in that water.
Nah, they couldn't just start SICKLY, you know?
Free up the youth, them.
See?
Free Sick, free Kilo, free John,
See, Marksman
free
YG.
OG.
Nigga.
Go hard.
Go hard like clothing. Bodies DBS. All black on my clothing. Excellent. That's how we rolled in. Put it to you. Have you jumping like the rose in. But you in your mouth. Taking out your gold in. Put it to your next man. Now his neck frozen. Fuck. Now I'm dipping in the stolen, creeping in, I'm scoping. I see him leave him open. Big large gunners, no poking. Pop out the big, your head's open. Now you're floating. The body stays stiff in the ocean. Cruising with some deadly fish, so your body ain't exposing. The DBS I was chosen, so I hunt for the golden. And make watch, don't care if it's stolen. But bang bang if you owe him. The black flag I was holding. 5 DB we rolling. 10 guns we be holding. 2 each so we rolling.
So it was a couple months ago, not long ago. One person got injured. I think they said there were 6 people or something. 140 rounds were fired. That's just how many like casings they found. How many bullets they
Headshots on you, go spin. Niggas not tryna see me with the DBS, cause you know the niggas I'm with, get it poppin'. Strap on my waist, you can tell by how I'm walking. Back left, you can lie right in the coffin. I remember I almost got caught slipping shit, had me tripping. On this block I'm sitting, call it camping. My niggas had me snapping. Now I'm sitting here plotting on my enemy. Had to get my own strap, niggas didn't friend for me. A fat blunt and some Hennessy. Just to level me, this beat sounds heartfelt. Big bullets made the biggest niggas melt. That's a bomb, nigga. Up top, nigga, I'm nigga. Every nigga I roll with call them scavengers. Somebody strapped to the beat, so mad at the caliber. Deal with you right, ain't no getting back at us. Do what I got it, then I'm dipping in the Avenger. Back to the bricks, doing the usual way. Felt like he was trying to hide, so I had to shoot a few. Gotta expect it, you know how down bottom shooters do. Hooded gloves in each hoodie, black socks fitted all black. I'm about to get down on my business. Deal with them other ones, no need for a witness. Hand me the ratchet, call me Mr. Fix It. Learn from my bro, no need for shooting if you miss it. Stop complaining, every day is a gift. Every day up, you got myself in the kitchen. Fiends everywhere, pops whipping. I wanna move bricks, but that nigga ain't attention. The strap I got on my waist stays kicking, and I be trained so I aim with precision. Hit him in the 6-pack, give him about 6 flat, and it's a rip rap, nigga. Yes, nigga. Word take it, nigga. Free Slim, we out here. Don't get close, nigga. We the creators, got the shooters behind me. FOGs the white lights, these the 990s. So don't sleep, no, nigga. We are one. Don't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. We the creators, got the shooters behind me. FOGs the white lights, these the 990s. So don't sleep, nigga. We are one. Don't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. On the same shit, shooting with the same click. Never gonna change, no, nigga. Only change hoes and the pool, but only if it's fucking up. Put some aim and niggas above the button. I'm hard in the paint, no pants are fucking up. Repack and flip that to get that shit up. All the other option is a stick up. Never a 9 to 5, cause I ain't got no day job. From the slums, little homie, when you play hard. If you don't wanna see the 30-30 when it sprays hard. 22 for walk around 3/8 for the beat. The 40 to lick them down, the max for the UC. Heard niggas saying but they wanna make tracks with us. Before that, didn't even crack to us. Going hard in the booth, this a takeover. Hard in the ground into your face, that's a makeover. 2 and 5 for a Q. The rest profit, hustlers, I say won't sleep till I knock it. And don't push me, cause I ain't in the top. 12-year-old too, so I ain't scared if you got it. Y'all got it. Is it me you comparing to? I ain't finished my fair share yet, but I aired them just started. And I ain't talking about no jump shot, brush them off, go top. You know the cold on tracks. Didn't think I was capable. 4-5 pipe on my isn't traceable. Didn't think I was capable. 4-5 pipe on my isn't traceable.
You niggas don't ride something like a flat tire. They would fire at your back and with your backfire. Cause my gas the same size as a blow dryer. Never true in your raps, just some damn right. Break job, make them spit through the wire. And you don't supply shit, you a buyer. I'm the king of gang rap, call me sire. That's me, but privately you rate and admire. Tell the truth, your rubber grip tight, no pliers. I gotta take you out, call it quits or retire. You go, the 4th room down, 5th lift from up. Bells don't leave shouts, so I'm switching up. Do something like a bus driver, still picking up. Got your hands in your pocket, nigga, sick enough. Palmer projects, money's no objects. So we finger fuck max and we contact. Slide in, slide out, duck when we ride out. Down go, I got rounds that you dumb count. You're standing up till I tell them sit down. Stomach on the ground, hands behind your back on your neck. When I'm digging in your pants, give me that in your trip. All for the rest. He said, tap the weed, leave the cash. What? I'ma do him dirty, mad max. soon. Niggas get back, bitches get snapped, they get smacked face down when I'm breaking her back. Yo, we got metal like a rap, made a name in rap. I ain't selling it for trap. Yo, I'ma need me a bag that C-O-L-T, carved in my rack. Still unstolen, stereo scratch, sleep on my actions. Stop the madness, I'm real up, get it gone. Magic, I don't sleep like I don't got a night show. Center in class, didn't see prom, now run up on them close. I ain't doing wrong, but I'm clear blood strong till it drops on my palm. And it tiny changes and no to me arms just pages. Sicker than stars, I ain't famous, but I'm a hood star. I'll snap, crack, pop like Carol. I'll snap, run, duck, just hide when I let off. Run, man in the mask, man in the act, man with the strap to your man's vision black. With the phone dog and ox snap, on the G's for YG. Scroll clap, we clap, do you come and try me? 70s and 90s, been moving grimy. Blood rush till it's hooked up to the ivy.
4 or 5 will stretch you, and they think it's drunk. Until they end up on the stretcher, better get a coffin. Yo, Critians, so we ain't in a no long talking. Money overflow, back on my bullshit. These punks that I grew with, acting like they're too sick, too no cash making me ever switch sides. Or babble to the Jakes, almost get my crust fried, huh? My mind's fried, see I don't give a fuck. Stack it with a YG, guarantee we hit them up. Take a nigga slut, man you know me, never look back since my first pack in 03. Pack nigga, once I get busy with these OGs, screaming Southside, outside, all the police. Fucked up when I nipped 1.5 a beast, snakes selling cop chops, now you over 10 G's. Till I go to sleep, kill you for the indicator, marksman, shoot for fun, what the fuck's a murder one? Bad news if you run into yes, nigga. Word taking UK. Be slim. Be out here. Don't get close, nigga.
I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm
So don't sleep. No, nigga, we are what? Won't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. We the Critians got the shooters behind OGs, the wide, the 70s, the 90s. So don't sleep. Sleep, nigga, we are what? Don't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. On the same shit, with the same clip. Never gonna change, no, nigga, only change hoes. And the pool, but only if it's fucking up. Play some aim and niggas above the button. I'm hard in the paint, no patch of fucking no. Repatch a flip, that to get our shit up. Only other option is a stick up. Never a 9 to 5, cause I ain't got no day job. From the slums, little homie, when we play hard. If you don't wanna see the 30-30 when it sprays off. 22 for walk around 3/8 for the beef. The 40 to lick them down, the max for the DC. Heard niggas saying but they wanna make tracks with us. Before that, didn't even crack to us. Going hard in the booth, this a takeover. Hard and the brown into your face, that's a makeover. 2 and 5 for a Q, the rest profit. Hustlers when I say won't sleep till I knock it. And don't push me cause I ain't in the top. 12-year-old fool, so I ain't scared if you got it. Y'all got it. Is it me you comparing to? I ain't finished my fair share yet, but I aired them just started. And I ain't talking about no jump shot, brush them off, go top. You know the code on my tracks, didn't think I was capable. 4 5 pints from behind the traceable. Didn't think I was capable. 4 5 pints from behind it isn't traceable.
You niggas gon' ride something like a flat tire. Aim a fire at your back and when you backfire. Cause my gas the same size as a blow dry. Never true in your raps with some damn lies. Great job, make them spit through the wire. And you don't supply shit, you a buyer. I'm the king again, rap, call me sire. That's me, but privately you rate and admire. Tell the truth, your rubber grip tight, no pliers. I gotta take you out, call it quits or retire. The 4th room down, 5th lift them up. Bells don't leave shells, so I'm switching up. Do something like a bus driver still picking up. Got your hands in your pocket, nigga, stick them out. All the projects, money's no objects. So we finger fuck max and we contact. Slide in, slide out, duck when we ride out. Down go, I duck rounds at you dumb clowns. You're standing up till I tell them sit down. Stomach on the ground, hands behind your back, on your neck. When I'm digging in your pants, give me that in your grip. All for the rest. He said, tap the weed, leave the cash. What? I'ma do him dirty, Mad Max to it. Niggas get back, bitches get snapped, they get smacked face down when I'm breaking her back. Yo, we got metal like a rap, made a name in rap. I ain't selling it for trap. Yo, I'ma need me a bag that C-O-L-T, carved in My rats still unstolen, stereo scratching, sleep on my actions, stop the madness, I'm real up, get it gone, match it, they can't go sleep like I don't got a night show, center ain't class, didn't see wrong, now run up on them close, I ain't doing wrong, but I'm clear blood strong till it drops on my palm, till it high dangerous and low to me arms, just dangerous, sicker than stars, I ain't saying this, but I'm a hot star. I'll snap, crack, pop like camera. I'll snap, run, duck, just hide when I let off. Run, man in the mask, man in the act, man with the strap to your man's vision black. With the phone dog and hot snap, energies for YG. Scroll clap, we clap, do you come and try me? 70s and 90s, been moving grimy. Blood rush till it hooked up to the ivy. 4 or 5 will stretch you, or anything gets drunk. Until they end up on the stretcher, better get a coffin. Yo, Critians, so we ain't in a no long talking. Money overflow, back on my bullshit. These punks that I grew with, acting like you're too sick, too soon. Cash making me ever switch sides, or battle till the Jakes almost get my curse.
Oh, what did we do? Oh, come on.
Nigga slut, man you know me, never look back since my first pack in 03's pack, nigga. Plus I get busy with these OGs, screaming Southside, outside, all the police. Fucked up when I nip on a half a B, snakes and them cop chops, now you owe me 10 G's. Till I go to sleep, kill you for the ABK, the marksman, shoot for fun. What the fuck's a murder one? Bad news if you run into the DBS, all I do is give one nod, then he breathes the tech. Then he breathes the tech. All I do is give one nod, then he breathes the tech. We the Critians got the shooters behind me. At home, she's the wide, that's
First, we celebrated,
Some white
and
guys do
now
that
we
together.
reflect
But it's
on
the
Clearwater
file name
sale
is
to
like
Big Mouth First
primal
Nations.
drumming
What does it mean from corporate control?
M4A or some bullshit.
Yeah, my name is Riley, son.
Dude.
But you know, niggas call me AKA Riley Escobar. You know what I'm saying? Cause I be in the street.
My time is a little. I should have just done it. I'm high enough. The weed's fine. I just need to get fucked up.
what up? What up?
If you don't have chronic conditions or horrible terminal illnesses, it's easy to say do something great or save it.
And I'm not hating, I see the future, that's so raving. Kicked on your door, big strap waving. On your knees, hands up like he's praying. Guns blast, he runs fast like Jamaicans. I won't stop till I make it. Strip a man naked, not on the dating. He got the work where the sun's not shining. Some call me Romy, others your highness. I'm a rude boy, but still I'm a jealous. Can't break me, skin hard like melons. My team got ice time like the red. Big thing coke on my stomach, no pregnant. Bad not the cops, who you arrested. Black got bodies on every intersection. Guns so dirty, the inside's rusted. WD-40 make it shine like a necklace.
People that are hot dog with no marks.
No domestic, all aim for the weight. Stick a man up like a magnet on the fridge. Give me that. You ain't strapped like them niggas in the bin. You ain't strapped. So stop telling stories. I read the truth to you niggas like Maury. And I'm in the White House. If we in the White House, I'm blue. If he talks, blow him like a flute. It's not how you talk, it's how you do your dirt. Some niggas got flight for the work. Yo, I been on my grizzly, trap no frisbee. Late night posted, chicken get busy. You think you hot? So come fuck with me. Nah, you won't catch me, slipping like Kane. Young nigga ride out, bang on range. Niggas think they hot, shoot at they dick. It's wire and the GPS, we pop at your frame. Miss P89, I love the way they shine. The way I grip on you, that's how I know you mine. The way I bust you off, that's how I know you grind. You niggas think you hot, so come take mine. Then I heard through the grapevine, they wanna take mine. So I ride around with this old dirty nine. Niggas think they hot, pop at they mom. After that shit, wait at they baby mom. Me and Ron Dog ride out with the slums. You better call your mom. Shit blows like a bomb. Niggas think they hot, boy.
Shorty got pneumonia. Bird flu. That was on the list. So was this. These were on the list before.
Reality, bitch.
They make this happen.
Walk with us. If we were in a gang, I'd bang on the bitches, leaving all the snitches, sleeping with the vicious. If we were in a gang, I'd let it be known I'm not alone. We lurking outside your home. If we were in a gang, I wouldn't hesitate. I'd be a renegade and walk around and regulate. If we were in a gang, I'd join the government and try to rule the world like I was someone that the devil sent.
Gangsta, gangsta.
Everybody shouting, labeled as a gang, might as well be all about it. So who's the enemy? I guess we got beef. Looking like a warrior, but feeling like a chief. Nobody said tripping. This is for the girl. And once you get your first dose, you become an addict. If I'm a gang member, then I'm a loyal one. Because I'm here to represent and get the job done. We put in overtime, protecting what we got. So if they think they're gonna shut us down, I think not. Taking the underground, just like you never seen. If I was in a gang, my team would be a big machine. Straight record shit, not giving a fuck. When I'm looking for the loot, everybody's getting stuck. Better duck when we come around, bitch, we united. I'm gonna keep it real. If we a gang, we about to riot.
If we were a gang, I'd do the same shit I do now. My psychopathic mind saw soldiers ready to move out. Now who's down to move house? Real life shootouts. My killers run up in your crib and make that bitch my new house. Now do bounce before this ass meet your teeth. Psychopath is the label that runs beneath the street. Check it, I am the shady one. You read it in the articles. I'm crazy with a gun. I turn your body into particles. And I just limbo, come with the kinfolk, just be info. Better like your window, all I do is swim broke. Get a piss skin slow, gonna get you by stretch out like a limo with a twin foes. Got blood in my timbos and rolled up, but I shit blown and don't never sweat like Tim Pro. Always been pro pimp hoes anyway that I get dope. Gang bang, I slang hang, my ninjas do the same thing and never will I change, man. You cannot maintain. There's no game when I aim, I think it's brain, you get your shit blown. Make it self rain when I aim and play. Blood stains when I grip clean. Gotta stick home in the savage play.
Sad. You're gonna tell us all about how to start a private military company, right? Contracted.
Yeah. Yo, I used to get locked up. Got time and I had to hug it. Been real since I came out of my mother's empty stomach. They say that your eyes are the windows to open souls. Maybe so, but my heart got strength that could open doors like I'm free now. The smoke's clear, I can see now. The hardest thing is trying to raise my daughter in these streets. Wow, I do good and then my niggas say I switched up. They still want the big dog to walk with his big gun. Call me old school, I live by morals and principles. My tracks will be legendary, written sound biblical. Niggas only love you when you ain't here in the physical. So all the hugs, fake love, just keep it on the minimal. Yeah, I'm from a block where they chip rock like minerals. The hate is typical, love stem, but it's unconditional. Every song I write's a 75 visual. A chief in my squad, 2 braids like an aboriginal. Niggas say they want my head, they want me dead. G, that's off cause I got 2 brothers that never left me. Trigger fingers itching, these niggas know that I'm deadly. I'm nice with a blade, but get him sniped like Wesley. Nigga met my pipe, took a plunge like Nessie. They praying on my downfall, hoping the feds arrest me. These games hurt me. He a snake, like is his name worthy? Put 2 knobs to his back like a Wayne jersey. Nigga said fuck feds, I think it's time to bust lad. I told this nigga fuck friends, coughing they got bunk beds. Were you niggas running through the 6 with your balls? I was smoking bip, running through cribs with my balls. This the life I live, but I can't take this no more. But this the life I chose, same one I'm living to die for.
Sergeant Preston to service. Preston service. Rifle.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them.
watching my computer fight with somebody. That's what it's going to do. Wow. Impressive. Wow. Holy fuck. Like, how much time do you people devote to this? Jesus Christ. SoundCloud has stopped. How about I'm not acknowledging that? UI isn't responding. Okay, well, happy networks. What the fuck's going on? See, so it's been about 4 or 5. Yeah, keep it up. So let's say 5 minutes, and it's still happening. Watching my machine fight with something to try to do what I'm telling it to do. This is not what I asked for at all. So let's do this. Oh, 5:17. So that's.
Green. Air quality is expected to be good, with the primary pollutant of small particulate.
You people do this for 5
This is NOAA
minutes at a
Weather
time.
Radio, all hazard, station WXL58, operating on frequency 162.55 megahertz.
Wow, it's working.
Dr. Halsey.
Good, I hate this one. Listen to it to study the enemy's propaganda.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. In 1952, American smokers bought more Chesterfields than ever before in the history of the industry. Today, sales are still going up. Smokers everywhere are changing to Chesterfield. Chesterfield, the first and only cigarette to give you premium quality in both regular and king size.
So it's a
Premium quality in a cigarette means the world's best tobaccos, the best ingredients, the best cigarette paper. Only Chesterfield gives you this premium quality in both popular sizes. King size Chesterfield contains tobaccos of better quality and higher price than any other king size cigarette. That's certainly important to every king size smoker. Of course, it's the same fine tobacco as in regular Chesterfield. There is absolutely no difference, except that king-size Chesterfield gives you more than a fifth longer smoke. Remember, the modern way to sell cigarettes is the Chesterfield
more than a fifth.
Premium quality, both regular and king-size. Chesterfield is much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
11:27 p.m. Frank and I drove out to Wilshire Division. We checked with Sergeant Brennan, and he told us how the boy had been picked up. He'd run a red light at the corner of Pico and La Brea. He'd been stopped by 2 officers in a cruiser car. He was driving a cut-down 49s equipped with Cadillac hubcaps, white sidewall tires, Chrysler horns, and a Cadillac radio. The officers had started to question him, and he'd attempted to escape. He'd been apprehended and brought to the station to be interrogated. In checking the serial number of the radio, the men from Wilshire Division had discovered that it was stolen and had left word for us. 11:45 p.m. We went to an interview room to talk to the boy. What's your name, son? Martin. First name? Herb. Herb Martin. You know why you're here, don't you? Yeah. You want to tell us where you got that stuff? I bought it. Where? Different. Do you remember where? Not right off. How old are you? 19. Where do you live? It's on the report. We're asking you. Come on, Herb. 8297 Marianne Drive. Where were you going when they stopped you? Home. Where'd you been? Around. Same place you bought that stuff in your car, huh? Yeah, that's right. Now look, you better come off this, young fella. You might think you're a big man, but you got things a little mixed up here. You got caught with a carload of stolen accessories. Been a lot of stealing going on around town. Car looks you could be responsible for it. Yeah, well, I'm not. You look good for it. Look, maybe I lifted the radio and stuff, but that don't mean I'm in on the other. Whoa, sure, I got no choice. You got me nailed for the stuff you found, but I'm not going to take it for the others.
Maybe I stole that stuff, but that was for me. I didn't sell it like the others. Now leave me alone, huh?
What do you mean others?
I don't know what you mean.
You said the others.
Well, I didn't mean others like
Well,
that.
how did you mean it?
Well, like the guys you're looking for.
That's not the way it sounded. No, you said it like you knew who you were talking about.
I didn't say it like that.
That's the way it sounded. That's right, son. Now, why don't you tell us who you meant?
Sample that. Put
Look,
it on
we got all day.
English.
Come on, boy.
Language cafe.
We're gonna get him sometime.
For an hour.
Who'd you mean?
All right, I'll tell you.
You said it like you sounded like you meant
We continued to talk to Herb Martin.
Whatever.
He told us of the activities of a gang of car strippers who were working on order. He went on to say that from what he heard, if someone wanted to pick up some fast money, a connection could be made with a man on the corner of Sunset and Western. The man would give the order for the stolen merchandise and say where and at what time it was to be delivered. Herb told us that he had the opportunity to do business with the man, but that he turned it down. He was unable to identify the man who made the contact and said that he'd never heard him referred to by name. He gave us the names and addresses of two of the men who were working for him. 12:45 a.m. Frank and I left and drove back downtown. With the assistance of officers from Wilshire Division, the two young men were brought in for questioning. They identified their contact as a Richard R. Ogden. They ran the name through R&I and found that Ogden had a previous record of petty theft. From the 510 in his package, we obtained his last known address, but the landlady told us that he'd moved and left no forwarding address. She told us, however, that she thought we could find him at the Meyer Garage on South Hoover. We drove over and found that it was a small place on the corner of Hoover and Mariposa. The owner, Alan Meyer, told us that Ogden did work for him, but that he was out. He said that the suspect was expected back almost any time. While we talked to him, Meyer worked on a small foreign car.
Great little cars. Get a real kick out of working on them.
Yeah, sure nice looking. You sell them, do you?
No, I just service them. Well, now and then I get accessories for them. You know, I order them up, install them. Cost too much to keep a regular stock of them.
Yeah. When did you say that Ogden would be back?
We should be here now. Probably got hung up someplace. Yeah, latest thing is a hardtop made out of laminated fiberglass.
Is that right?
Yeah, fits right over them. Kind of makes them look like a small rolls, you know. Then with wire wheel caps, baggage racks, wind wings, you can put a lot of money in them.
Yeah, I guess so. What about all this other stuff here? Is that for these foreign cars, too?
No, what do you mean?
Oh, the tires, the hubcaps here?
No, that's where I make most of my money. I go out and buy them from wrecks, bring them back here, straighten them out, resell them to the independent stations around town. They can sell them a lot cheaper than new ones run. We both make a little money out of it.
Yeah.
Say, you guys like some peanuts?
No, thanks.
Okay, you don't mind if I have some? Sure you don't want any?
No, thanks very much.
I guess I'm hungry in the morning. I'll keep these things around and munch on.
Yeah.
We'll show a whole can of these today. They'll kill me. And get started on the things you can't stop. You sure you don't want some?
No, thanks. How long you known this Ogden, Meyer?
Oh, I see. Guess it's been 10 years anyway. Went to work for me a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Good man. Brought a lot of business in. Say, what does she want to see him about?
Oh, we like to talk to him.
You don't want to tell me, huh?
Be better if we talk to him, Mr. Meyer.
Got it. Well, here he is now. Hey, Dick. Yeah, a couple of fellas here want to see you.
Yeah, what is it?
You're Richard Ogden?
Yeah, that's right.
Police officers. I'm Frank Smith. This is my partner, Joe Friday.
What did you guys want me for?
I'd like to talk to you, Ogden.
Well, go ahead.
Might be better if we went outside.
Well, look, you can talk to him here. I got some work I can do in the office.
Don't want to bother you, Mr. Meyer.
No trouble at all.
Now, what's this all about?
You know a couple of kids named Jerry Z. Swanson and Harry T. Benson?
Swanson and Benson? No, I don't think I do.
They say they know you. Say they do some work for you. Sorry to bother you.
Names forever.
Got my peanuts.
It's all right, sir.
I'll be in the office if you need anything.
Thank you, sir.
No, anything at all.
Yes, sir. What about it, Ogden?
What about what?
You know the kids, this Benson and Swanson?
No, I told you what.
All right, mister, let's go downtown. We'll talk it over there, huh?
What for? Why are you pulling me in?
I want you to meet the two boys if you don't know them.
Well, what's that gonna prove?
We want to know why they named you. Why they said you were responsible for the car stripping that's been going on.
You mean you believe them?
We've got no reason not to. I don't think they'd stage a thing like this. They got a lot to lose.
So have I. You get me down there and those two kids point me out and I haven't got a chance. Even if I'm not the one and they say I am, you won't give me a break.
No, if you haven't done anything, you got nothing to worry about.
Isn't that going? Alan? Hey, Alan.
Yeah, what is it, Dick?
Come here, will you?
Yeah, right away. What's the matter? Something wrong?
These guys are going to take me to jail.
Well, what for? What's he done?
We want to talk to him, Meyer. We think he's involved in some car thefts.
Well, I know that's not true. Dick wouldn't do a thing like that. I know. I've known him a long time.
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but the information we've got says he did.
Why, Dick? Why'd you do a thing like that? If what these officers say is true, gee, that's awful. Why would you do a thing like that?
What are you talking about?
All right, come on, Ogden, let's go.
No, I'm not going.
I think you better do what the officers say, Dick. It'll be better if you don't cause any trouble.
Well, wait a minute. What are you trying to prove with this?
I don't know what you mean. Next thing you'll be trying to involve me in this.
Yeah, well, that's just what I'm gonna do.
You see, officers, that's terrible.
Don't you listen to him. He's the guy behind the whole thing. Look over there, the tires, all this stuff. Sure, I stole them. I had the kids go out and pick them up, but he set it up. He sold them to the stations. He took most of the money. The whole thing was his idea.
But, Dick, how can you say that?
Well, I can say it because it's true. I'll tell you all about it. You take him downtown, I'll tell you all about it. You're not gonna let me stand for this alone.
And to think that he'd do a thing like this to me after we've been friends for so long. Bring me stolen merchandise to sell.
You got anything to back up what you're saying, Ogden?
Sure I have. You just bet I can back it up.
Go ahead.
Well, you look at his books, not the ones he's got out in the open, but you look at the ones in the safe. It's all there. All the deals he's made with the owners of the stations, all the orders, what he paid the kids for him, and what he got for him.
Why would he do all
Didn't think I knew about it, did you? Whole lousy year I've been doing the dirty work for him. Well, I've had it. I'm through. I've had it. Let me take the beef. What a crumb. I'll show him.
I don't understand it. Friends for so long. I'd have gotten you out. 10 years we've been friends. I trusted you all that time. Then you sold me out. Why?
Well, that shouldn't be too tough for you to figure.
Huh?
You showed him how.
How did he say it?
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 21st, trial was held in Department 87, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Remember, only Chesterfield gives you this scientific evidence on the effects of smoking. After 10 full months, the group examined showed no adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. Now, speaking personally as a Chesterfield smoker, I know they're best for me. Either way you like them, you'll find Chesterfield is best for you.
Richard R. Ogden and Alan Y. Meyer were tried and convicted of receiving stolen property. They received sentences as prescribed by law. Receiving stolen property is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not more than 10 years, or in the county jail for not more than 1 year. The investigation of the records of Alan Y. Meyer uncovered the names of the other men involved in the thefts. They, along with Herbert S. Martin, Jerry Z. Swanson, and Harold T. Benson, were tried on a charge of grand theft auto and convicted. They were sentenced to the state penitentiary at San Quentin, California, for the term as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 10 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 million Americans have diseases of the heart and blood vessels. What are the causes and the cures? Well, it'll take research to find out. Send what you can to Heart, care of your local post office. Help your heart fund. Help your heart.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vince Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Sarah Selby, Art Gilmore. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
You bastards.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday night on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield, either regular or king size. You'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig, confidential investigator on NBC.
You're listening to Chin Radio AM 1540, the voice of multicultural Toronto, bringing you the latest updates on COVID-19. Stay informed, stay safe, and stay tuned to Chin Radio AM 1540.
It's actually a government.
Now, as gunshots echo across the wind-swept, snow-covered reaches of the wild Northwest, Quaker Puff Wheat and Quaker Puff Rice, the breakfast cereal shot from guns, present the challenge of the Yukon.
It's Yukon King, swiftest and strongest lead dog of the Northwest, blazing the trail for Sergeant Preston of the Northwest Mounted Police in his relentless pursuit of lawbreakers. Run, you husky! Gold discovered in the Yukon. A stampede to the Klondike in the wild race for riches. Back to the days of the gold rush. With Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice, bringing you the adventures of Sergeant Preston and his wonder dog Yukon King as they meet the challenge of the Yukon.
Look, fella, I'm from Missouri. You gotta show me.
Oh, so you're someone that thinks all breakfast cereals are pretty much alike, huh? Well, sir, here's a tip. Just you treat yourself to wheat or rice shot from guns. That's the original, the one and only Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice. These crisp, tender, king-size grains are premium grains shot from guns. Yes, actually exploded up to 8 times normal size to make them bigger and better tasting. Pour on a bowlful, so crisp and fresh right from the package. Add milk and sugar, top with fruit, and start eating. Man, oh man, you'll say this is in a class by itself.
Say, I'm sold.
Tomorrow, sure, buy Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice. The first blizzard of the year caught Rick Farley when he was only halfway to Beaver City. He knew that he must travel light if he were to make it to the town, so he cached his gold dust and most of his supplies. Even so, the storm was nearly too much for him. I can't make it. His strength was gone, and he was still over a mile from town when he saw a light shining through the snowy darkness. A cabin. He staggered through the drifts and knocked on the door.
Somebody come, please.
Before it was opened, he dropped to the ground.
Uncle Bill, come here.
What is it, Rita?
Look.
What? Just about done for.
Bring him inside.
Jake won't like that.
He and Peter are asleep. We can't let the man freeze to death.
Okay, Rita.
Wait a minute. I'll put a blanket on the floor near the stove.
Hurry up. He's heavy.
Just a second.
Put him down, stupid.
There. He's young, isn't he?
Good-looking sprout. Well, I got some brandy. That'll bring him around.
What's going on out here?
Nothing.
That was Sherlock Holmes' advice.
We don't know. He knocked on the door, and when I opened it, he was lying in the snow.
Haven't I warned you not to let any travelers inside this cabin?
He can't do you any harm.
The boy's almost dead, Jake. He might be a policeman.
You can see for yourself. He's nothing but a miner.
Or if he's got any dust. No. Yeah, no poke of any kind. A tramp, like I said. Pete, come here. Get out of that bunk and come here.
Can a man get any sleep around this dump?
What are you going to do, Jake?
I'm not going to do anything. Bill and Pete are going to take this galoot back to the trail and leave him there.
No, I won't stand for it.
You what?
I won't. But it's murder.
I'm still giving the orders around here.
I'll go to the Northwest Mounted.
Oh, you will. Don't you hit her, Jake. You'll stop me, I suppose. Yes, I will. Hey, where'd he come from? The question is, where's he going?
He's going to stay right here.
Now, you listen to
now
me.
Be sensible, Jake. He'll be all right in the morning, and we can send him on his way. But if he's found dead anywhere near this cabin, you will have the police around.
Stupid.
There's a lot in what she says, Jake.
It isn't going to hurt you to let him stay the night.
Yeah, we got no room.
He can sleep on a pallet on the floor out here. Go on, Bill, get the brandy.
Okay, Rita.
Rick was forced to swallow a little brandy, and the color returned to his cheeks. But his exhaustion was too deep for him to revive, and he sank into a heavy sleep. Bill carried him to the cot and covered him with blankets. In his dreams, he relived the struggle on the trail.
Hide the gold.
He started to talk, and the man and Rita listened.
Get on the trail.
Finally, he stopped.
He has got some gold after all. He must have hid it when he got caught by the blizzard.
Talk like that doesn't mean anything.
We'll find out.
How?
Make him tell us.
He can show us where the gold is.
Aren't you in enough trouble now?
Yeah. And it's going to take money to get us out of it. Pete, you stay here and watch this bucko. There's no chance that he's getting away. Watch him. And call me as soon as he wakes up.
I'll watch him.
Call me.
All right, Rita. But you know I don't trust you anymore. Pete'll keep you company. Both Rita and Pete settled down in chairs near the stove. Hours passed, and Pete started to nod. Soon he was fast asleep, his head sunk on his chest. Rita watched him closely for a few minutes. Then she rose from her chair and crossed the room to the cot.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Huh? Who are you?
It doesn't matter who I am. You've got to get out of here.
I think I'm dreaming. You're the prettiest girl I ever saw in my life.
Will you listen to what I'm saying? Your life's in danger.
I feel fine. I never felt better.
Then you won't have any trouble making it into Beaver City. It isn't much more than a mile. I'll give you a pair of snowshoes and you can start right away.
Oh, no. What's your name?
I'm not going to tell you my name.
Then I won't leave.
Keep your voice down. Listen, you've been talking in your sleep about some gold you cached on the trail.
I've got plenty of gold. I figure it's about time I got married.
Be serious.
I am.
You can see that man over by the stove. There are two more in the other room. One of them's all right, the other one isn't. He's going to make you show him where your gold is. And after that, I think he'll kill you.
He's a crook?
Yes.
What's a girl like you doing mixed up with a crook?
That's a long story, and it doesn't matter.
Why are you looking at me like that?
How?
As if you were sorry for me.
You're so young.
Look who's talking.
Please, will you get out of here?
Unless you come with me.
You're crazy.
Maybe. But I mean it. Just now, just for a second, there was something like hope in your eyes. You don't want to stay here, do you?
That has nothing to do with you.
It's settled.
But you don't understand. I have no friends anywhere. There's no place where I can go.
You've got one friend, me. My name's Rick Farley. What's yours?
Shut up,
Rita O'Day. But I can't leave here with you. They come after us. Rick.
They won't catch us, I promise you that. And I know where you can stay.
Where?
Mrs. Carson's in Beaver City. Come on.
Rick.
All right. I will.
Let's go.
Please be quiet. If you wait, Pete will never get away. I don't know what'll happen.
Here, I'll help you with your parka.
The snowshoes.
Got him.
The door squeaks sometimes. Be careful.
Right. Rick and Rita slipped out of the cabin. The storm was over, but the snow was drifted and deep. And even with the help of snowshoes, it was hard
Is he
going.
gonna follow you in them footsteps, stupid?
Dawn was breaking as they entered the town.
Worse.
And Rick led the way to Mrs. Carson's boarding house.
Oh, shit.
She was an old friend, and as she prepared breakfast for the girl and boy, Rita told her something of her story.
It was last July that Dad died, Mrs. Carson. That was down in Whitehorse. Bill Manson was his partner. I'd always called him Uncle Bill. He isn't really.
You said he was all right.
I think so. Except, well, he's had a lot of hard luck. He needed money badly when he met Jake and Pete.
Are they wanted by the law, Rita?
Something happened in Whitehorse. All I know is that Bill woke me up late one night and said that we had to leave town. The four of us came up here.
Sergeant Preston's due to arrive in Beaver City today. I think you'd better have a talk with him, Rita.
No.
For your own protection.
Bill's been kind to me. I don't want to get him into any trouble.
Well, I can understand that. But the other two, you're afraid of them, Rita. And you probably have a good reason.
I only want to forget them.
Well, you're perfectly welcome to make your home here with me. You'll be a great help.
Oh, that's swell.
It's wonderful. Only if they find out where I am,
And nobody's going to hurt you.
I'm not afraid for myself, but they'll be looking for you.
Oh, I can take care of myself.
They need money badly, and your gold
They won't find that. As soon as we eat, I'm going to hire a dog team and go and get it.
Trail passes so close to the cabin, they'll see you.
I can take another trail.
Be careful. That's all I ask.
Don't worry. Come on, let's eat. Mrs. Carson said nothing more to Rita about Sergeant Preston, but she was determined to have a talk with him. And she was waiting at the general store when he drove into town that morning.
Drive in.
Hello there, Sergeant. I'm glad to see you.
Hello, Mrs.
You got
Carson.
the 8.
Hello, King. I've got some business with you, Sergeant. But let's get out of the cold, shall we?
By all means.
Hello, Sergeant.
Hello, Judge.
What's the news in Dawson?
Now, just wait to find that out, Josh. I've got to tell you about these men, Sergeant.
What then?
They're living in the woods about a mile outside of town, and I think they're crooks.
Crooks? Why do you think that?
Well, there's a girl named Rita O'Day staying at my place now. She's a sweet young thing.
Mrs. Carson told the sergeant of Rick and Rita's escape from the cabin in the woods, and all that Rita had told her of the men who lived there.
Now, this Bill Manson has evidently watched out for Rita ever since her father died. But even so, if they're crooks, and they were certainly planning to steal Rick's gold, I figure you should do a little investigating.
I agree with you. Could you give me a description of them?
No, but maybe Josh has seen them. Josh, have you ever seen anything of 3 men that live in the woods outside of town?
Where?
That old trapper's cabin.
I don't think so, Miss Carson. They never bought anything here.
Perhaps I'd better have a talk with the girl.
Well,
Now, wait a minute. I did see a couple of strangers this morning when I was opening up the store.
you did?
They were heading down the street towards your place.
Oh, land's sakes, could they have followed Rick and Rita?
I'd better have a talk with the girl.
That's right, Sergeant. No matter what she thinks about it. You come along with me.
All right, King, let's go, boy.
She's gone.
A few minutes later, the sergeant and Mrs. Carson were climbing the steps of her boarding house.
Where the fuck were they?
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have left Rita alone. If they know where she is,
How long have you been gone?
it's been over an hour. I wanted to catch her the minute you got into town.
I see.
Oh, Rita. She was in the kitchen when I left.
No one here.
Well, her bedroom is the one in front. Maybe she's asleep.
I'll take a look. No?
What's that King's got?
Scarf.
It's hers.
It's the best recordings
Where's
you'll
her
ever
pocket?
find of
Those
those
tracks on the
doorknobs.
floor, they were made by a man, a big man.
Oh, Sergeant. They've been here and they've found it.
Yes, I'll keep the scarf. Let's go, King. We have work to do.
We'll continue our story in just a moment. You know, fellas and girls, it's getting mighty chilly some of these mornings, and I was
Fuck
thinking
off.
Say, as a matter of
Minus
fact, it's getting chilly in here right
18 or
now,
some
but
shit.
fast. Oh. Good heavens, look who just blew in.
Not tomorrow, the next
Well, he's a
day.
sprightly looking little fellow with pointed cap and shoes and... Say, you wouldn't be Jack Frost, would you?
That's me, Jack Frost,
Bastard.
in person.
Oh, so you're the fellow that paints the frost on windows, huh?
Right. Now,
him in the
ask me
face.
what I'm doing
Kick him in the
here.
face
Well,
with
I am
salt in his
curious.
ass.
Had an idea about Quaker
You're
Puff
the last
Wheat
one
and
I
Quaker
smelled
Puff
it.
Rice.
Oh, you're interested in the breakfast cereal shot from guns?
You bet I am. I eat a big bowlful every morning, winter, summer, the year round.
Say, Jack, you must go for wheat or rice shot from guns.
Nothing better. Good for you, too, especially for a busy fellow like me.
You mean because Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice are nourishing and furnish added food values of restored natural grain amounts of vitamin B1, niacin, and iron?
Right.
Say, what was that idea of yours?
Oh, it's simple. On cold mornings,
Restored
boys and girls might
natural
ask Mom to
grain
pop their Quaker
amounts.
puffed wheat or Quaker puffed rice into the oven and heat just for a jiffy.
Oh,
And then maybe pour on some hot milk.
say, that's a real easy-to-fix warmer-upper breakfast treat. And different.
And good. Well, gotta go now. Lots of work to do
Please
these
teach
days.
people how to make
So long.
Goodbye,
Rice
and thanks,
and
Jack
wheat.
Frost, for the swell breakfast
Fuck
idea.
yeah.
And fellas and girls, just try it real soon on a chilly morning. And don't forget, Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice
You
are shot
bastards, the
from
reason
guns
rice is expensive. Rice is
to
supposed
make
be
them
expensive,
crisp
man.
and tender. Yes, these king-size premium grains are actually exploded up to 8 times normal size
Up to.
to make them bigger and better tasting.
Up to 8 times.
Ask Mom right now to order Quaker puffed wheat and
Yes.
Quaker puffed rice. Wheat or rice shot from guns come only in big red and blue packages. Look for the smiling Quaker man on the front.
You know,
He's
some
your
of them are red and
guarantee
some of them
that
are
you're
blue.
getting the
They're
original,
all red
the
and
one and
blue.
only Quaker puffed
already
wheat,
lost me,
and
bro.
Quaker puffed rice.
I was a potential customer. Now I hate you.
Now to continue our story. As Sergeant Preston and King left Mrs. Carson's boarding house, Pete and Rita were nearing the cabin in the woods.
Come on, fast.
I'm doing the best I can.
You're going to get a big surprise in a minute.
It won't do you any good bringing me back here. I'll only run away again.
Inside.
Rick!
How does he look to you now, Rita?
Where did they find him at? Where was it?
You've beaten him up, and when his hands were tied. You're rotten, all of you. Bill, how could you have let them do such a thing?
We're in a tough spot, Rita.
You're just as bad as they are.
Oh, the rough stuff was Jake's idea.
What happened, Rick? How did they catch you?
They were waiting for me outside of town. Got the drop on me.
You didn't think you could get away so easy, did you,
I
Rita?
thought you were getting
After that snow we had last night, all we had to do was follow your track.
What have they been trying to do, Rick? Make you tell them where your gold is?
That's exactly right. So far, he hasn't felt like talking. But from the way he looks at you, I've got an idea things are going to be different now. Yeah.
Just because of that snow, you should have walked straight to the...
If you want to save her life, Farley, you'll tell us where you hid your dust. Now, how about it?
All right.
No, don't pay any attention to them,
Does the
Rick.
landlady
They
not have a
wouldn't
gun?
dare. They're just a pack of cowards.
Does this look like we wouldn't dare?
Keep away from her with that knife.
Where's the gold?
I'll have to show you.
All right. Bill, get his team around in front.
Bill, you're not going through with this.
We've got to. You won't be hurt, and you've got some friends now. You'll make out all right. The three of us are heading for the border.
Hurry up. Untie his feet, Pete.
Yeah.
He's in no condition to hit the trail.
You ride the sled. You're healthy. You can walk.
Why does she have to come with us? Why can't you let her go back to Mrs. Carson?
Later, Farley. When we're over the border.
Hey, Jake, these dogs are acting up. I think somebody's heading this way.
Hurry up, Pete. Get Farley on his feet.
There. Yeah.
Now march with it. I got you covered. And don't try any funny business. Rick was helped out of the cabin to the sled. The others put on snowshoes. And a few minutes later, it disappeared in the forest heading north. King was leading the sergeant's team toward the cabin. The trail was an easy one to follow, and they'd made good time from town. But at the edge of the clearing, the sergeant stepped on the brake.
Oh, there. Oh, easy, King. Keep the team quiet, boy.
He and King circled the clearing to the side of the cabin that had no windows before they left the cover of the trees. Then they closed in. Keeping low, the sergeant rounded the corner of the cabin and ran to the door. With his gun ready, he opened it.
Nobody here, boy. What'd you find, first trail? Yes, I see the sled tracks now. And people on snowshoes. 3 of them, King. I think I'd better use snowshoes myself. Come on, boy. Back to the sled.
Leaving the team behind, the sergeant and King started out. King knew that the people they were following were only a little way ahead. And less than half a mile from the cabin, he stopped and looked up into his master's face.
Close, boy. Come on.
But King refused to move. There were men ahead, it was true. But there was also a man to the right of the trail and another to the left. And they were moving toward the sergeant. King caught the ominous glint of metal through the trees, and he jumped against his master. Preston dropped to the ground as a shot rang out.
I see him, boy.
The sergeant raised himself slightly to fire at the man to the left of the trail. Then a rifle spoke from the right.
Oh, I'd better find more cover.
The sergeant was hit, but he crawled into a gully at the side of the trail.
Isn't too bad, boy. Won't interfere with my shooting anyway.
The men among the trees showed themselves in the barest second. They fired, and the sergeant missed his target several times. Then one of his shots hit the man at the left.
Score's even anyway, King, but I didn't get the one who hit me.
And there was no further opportunity. There was no more firing. The man had gone. King told his master that by scrambling from the gully to stand in full view on the trail. The sergeant didn't follow him.
I'm sorry, boy, I can't make it. I can't even reach my first aid kit. Try, though. Try. King, I dropped it. Fetch, boy. Good dog. Thanks.
I'm gonna try and get this bark off. King, here, pull. Hold it back. That's it. I have to unbutton my jacket. Good thing my right arm still works.
Why they don't have a dog.
Now, rip the shirt. Don't worry, King, I'm not giving up. Just resting a little.
Can't make him do it on command. That's
I'll
why.
get the case open. Now we have the septic. Oh. Now, bandage. Hard to get it around, King. Gotta make it, though. It's the only way to stop it from... Get it around. Tight. Tighter. Get it, King. Afraid I can't walk, though, boy.
That dog is still bringing in dead animals.
That's right. Got the team. Go on, King.
You stayed there long enough. That dog will
King
start
raced
bringing
off
dead
down the
rabbits
trail.
and shit.
Pete rejoined Jake and Rick and Rita half a mile to the north.
Well, who was it? It was a big guy. The dog he had with him, my guess is it was Preston.
Sergeant Preston, did you get him?
I hit him. He won't be following us anymore.
Did you finish him off?
I don't know.
Why don't you?
Because he can still shoot even if he was hit. And he took cover in a gully. If I'd showed myself, I wouldn't be here to talk about it.
He's only wounded.
He may be dead now.
Yeah, where's Bill?
I thought he'd be here. I heard him take off.
Here he comes. He's wounded too.
All right, what happened to you?
What's it look like? I stopped the bullet, caught one in the arm.
A couple of bunglers.
I'd like to put you up against Preston someday and see how you like it.
So it was him.
Yeah.
He may still be coming after us.
I don't think so. He was hurt bad. The best thing for us to do is keep moving.
Okay. And Pete, you stay 100 yards and back of us.
Why?
Just in case, mister. You see any sign of Preston, shoot to kill.
I must you now.
That's his plan?
As the sergeant waited for King, he felt his strength returning. He put it to the test. They found that he was able to climb out of the gully. He rested beside the trail and King came charging toward him, the team inside behind him. The great dog tried to lick his master's face.
Yes, boy, I'm feeling better, but never mind that. Hang on to you, I can make it to the sled. That's it. Just stand steady, boy. All right. There. Up front, boy. We're going on, King. We're going after them. Up front. On, King! On, you husky!
The early dusk of the Northland was falling over the trail when Rick told Jake to stop his team.
This is it. Right.
Where?
I'll show you. But you'll have to help me out.
Don't go through with it, Rick.
Rita, we haven't any choice.
It's a good thing you've got some sense. Up you go.
Here, lean on me.
Bill, can you see Pete?
Yeah, down the trail. He's coming.
All right, mister. Where's that goal?
This way. It's right near the spring. There's a big rock. I just wrapped my supplies in the dust in a piece of tarpaulin. Of course, they must be covered with snow now, but I can find the place.
Hey, there's the spring. Is that the rock you mean?
Yes. Go ahead, take it.
Keep them covered, Bill, while I clear away the snow.
I'm sorry, Rita.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, it's here. I got it.
Oh,
Focus, buddy.
Full summer's work.
Yep, I say it was close to $5,000.
Now you're going to let Rita and me go? What's so funny?
The idea of letting you go. We got to make sure you stay right here for a while. There's only one way I can think of to do that.
What are you talking about?
What? We can't let them go back to Beaver City. You must have realized that from the beginning, Bill.
I think I did.
Well, I didn't. I may be all kinds of a skunk, but I don't kill anybody in cold blood. And you're not either, Jake.
What?
I've got you covered. Even shoot with my left hand, I couldn't miss from here.
Why, you...
Rita, untie those ropes around Farley's wrists.
All right.
Don't make a move, Jake. We're going through with our bargain.
Back on the trail, King had warned the sergeant that Pete was only a short distance ahead of them, and the Mountie had stopped the team. He was strong enough to walk now, only occasionally leaning on King for support, and he took to the trees at the side of the trail. Now he could see Pete. He was standing still. The sergeant hurried on, and finally through the trees he could see Jake, Bill, Rick, and Rita. He could see Bill holding a gun on Jake. And then as King growled, he looked at Pete once more. Pete had raised his gun and was about to shoot Bill.
This is one time, King. We shoot first. Got him, King. Come on.
The sergeant and King moved on toward the group near the frozen spring. Pete had sunk to his knees, clutching his side. Bill still held a gun on Jake. Rick recognized the sergeant.
Keep back, Sergeant. Don't show yourself. You're a bunch of killers. That doesn't go for me, and I don't shoot at the man who just saved my life. Oh, come on, Sergeant. I'll just hold a gun on this coyote until you take over.
I'll do that right now.
Okay.
Give me your gun.
Yeah.
So they had you a prisoner as well as the girl, eh, Rick?
They wanted my dust. Jake here's got it now.
I see. I recognize these three.
You do? How?
From their descriptions. They broke into the express office at Whitehorse, but they only managed to get away with something like $100. Now it looks to me as if the charge would be attempted murder.
But not Bill, Sergeant.
Perhaps not, if this one is Bill. You were shooting at me from the left of the trail, weren't you?
How did you know that?
I know where I hit you, in the arm. And you weren't trying to hit me, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Sergeant, Jake made him go back there.
And it was Jake who was going to kill Rita and me. He would have if Bill hadn't stopped him. Oh, I didn't do much good. I didn't see Pete. He'd have plugged me if it hadn't been for you, Sergeant.
Well, we'll bandage Pete up and take him back to town. All three of you are under arrest, but the charge against you, Bill, will only be robbery.
I'm ready to face it now. Rita, I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. I forgive you.
No, I'm almost glad it happened this way. I know Rick will watch out for you. I sure will. You'll be happy now, Rita.
Looks to me, King, as if the case is closed.
In just a moment, Sergeant Preston will give you a preview of Wednesday's program.
Rick on X-1.
Say, if you can't make up your mind which you like best, Quaker Puffed Wheat or Quaker Puffed Rice, here's what you do. Don't miss out on either kind of these delicious, ready-to-serve cereals. Always keep a supply of both kinds on hand. Eat Quaker Puffed Wheat one time, Quaker Puffed Rice the next. Wheat or rice shot from guns is never sold in bags or bulk. Be sure to look for the big red and blue package with the smiling Quaker man on the front. That's the only way to get the original, crisp, fresh Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice.
Yeah, but for about the same amount of money.
These radio dramas, a feature of the Challenge of the Yukon Incorporated, are created and produced by George W. Trendle, directed by Fred Flowerday, and supervised by Charles D. Livingston. The part of Sergeant Preston is played by Paul Sutton. They are brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this same time by Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice, the breakfast cereal shot from guns.
From Monday, Wednesday,
Listen
Friday,
Wednesday when Sergeant Preston and Yukon King meet the Challenge of the Yukon in the adventure of Marlowe's Gang.
When Inspector Martin sent King and me to Dawson to hunt for the Marlowe Gang, I realized we were up against a gang of ruthless and clever killers. They managed to avoid a trap I laid for them, with the result that Roy Miller, a fellow officer, faced death. Believe me, when King and I found the gang, we had a fight on our hands.
Be sure to hear this exciting story Wednesday. Till then, this is J. Michael wishing you goodbye, good luck, and good health from Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice. So long.
That would be chapter 1, part 1.
For a delicious hot breakfast, eat Quaker Oats. The giant of the cereals is Quaker Oats. Yes, the giant of the cereals is Quaker Oats. Delicious, nutritious, makes you feel ambitious. The giant of the cereals is Quaker Oats. Say, boys and girls, do you want to be a star someday in sports and activities? Then start a good Quaker Oats breakfast tomorrow.
What kind of
because nourishing oatmeal gives you more growth and endurance than any other whole grain cereal. Still less than 1 penny a serving.
You don't want your kids doing. Are you required to play like one musical track per hour to keep your license? It's a cover of something. Oh my God.
我能用优惠券吗
Use this coupon in Chinese.
Du jour.
See you tomorrow.
再见。
Question du jour. Thank you, sir. You mean de jure? I'm sure I'm butchering that one too.
You're
China
listening
boy.
to China Plus Radio, connecting you with China and the world.
I'm Shane Bigham. Chinese mainland reported over 120 local COVID-19 infections on Wednesday. 68 were found in Heilongjiang, 33 in Jilin, 20 in Hebei, 2 each in Beijing and Shanxi, and 1 in Shandong. Health authorities in Beijing have also identified the virus behind the recent outbreak in Daxing as the variant first detected in Britain. The district is testing all local residents for coronavirus and prohibits people from leaving the city without approval. President Joe Biden has signed an executive order returning the United States to the Paris Agreement on climate change, reversing former President Donald Trump's decision to abandon that deal. Biden earlier promised that he would rejoin the Paris deal on his first day in office. Trump announced the withdrawal from the deal shortly after he took office in 2017, citing concerns about the pact's threat to the U.S. economy. Also on day one in the White House, Biden reversed the U.S. process of withdrawing from the World Health Organization, which was initiated by Trump last year. Joe Biden has taken office as the 46th president of the United States.
This is America's day. This is democracy's day, a day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge.
Vice President Kamala Harris was also sworn in, making history as the first woman person of color to take that position. The inauguration ceremony was held on the Capitol just 2 weeks after it was stormed by violent protesters. The guests included former Presidents Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama. But outgoing President Donald Trump was not there. U.S. Democrats have officially taken control of the Senate as Georgia's 2 new Democratic senators-elect were sworn in, cementing a 50-50 split. Kamala Harris administered the oath of office to Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff hours after she was sworn in as vice president. Harris will also serve as the tie-breaking vote in her new role as president of the Senate. A pair of Democratic victories in the Senate runoff elections earlier this month gave the party control of both the White House and Congress, with the thinnest of majorities in the upper chamber. China is calling on the new U.S. administration to jointly put bilateral relations back on the track of healthy and stable development. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hua Chunying says the relationship was seriously damaged over the past 4 years.
No, damn it.
Years was caused precisely because the Trump administration made fundamental mistakes in its strategic perception of China and viewed China as its biggest strategic competitor or enemy, leading to various means to interfere in China's internal affairs and every effort to suppress, slander, and smear China. I don't think this serves the interests of the people in China or the United States.
She's calling on the Biden administration to view China in a rational and objective light and work with China on the basis of mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit. China's announced sanctions on 28 U.S. individuals, including former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, accusing them of violating China's sovereignty and disrupting China-U.S. relations.
Yes,
the target. One miner has been confirmed dead after being trapped underground for 10 days in a gold mine in Shandong province. 22 miners have been trapped about 600 meters underground following a mine blast on January 10th in the city of Qixia. 12 of them were found alive on Sunday, but one later lost contact. Authorities say the dead miner suffered severe head injuries during the explosion and later fell into a coma. Medical personnel managed to deliver medicines and instructed other miners to offer treatment, but his condition did not improve. Among the other 10 workers in contact with rescuers, 8 are reportedly in good condition and 2 have minor injuries. Chilean health authorities have approved the emergency use of the Sinovac COVID-19 vaccine. Local authorities recommended the use of the Chinese vaccine for people between
drew as a guest star Peter Lorre, one of the screen's past masters of the art of suspense. Suspense is compounded of mystery and intrigue and dangerous adventure. In this series are stories calculated to intrigue you, to stir your nerves, to offer you a precarious situation, and then withhold the solution until the last possible moment. Tonight, for instance, Mr. Lorre plays for us a doctor, a husband, with something dark and terrible on his mind.
Some of these stories
Was it
murder?
And if so, can this at last be the really perfect crime? We trust that while you are wondering, we shall keep you in
There should be 12
suspense.
half-hour radio dramas.
For Suspense tonight, CBS presents Till Death Do Us Part by John Dixon Carr, starring Peter Lorre.
Late one night in December of 1941, a man and his wife sat beside the fire in their country cottage. This man, look at him, a professor of mathematics, stout and middle-aged, guileless as a child. In the remote corner of England where he lives with his pretty English wife, they say of him,
jolly decent fellow, you know, for a foreigner.
Isn't he? Always a smile for everybody and so polite. That's why it's such a shame about his wife and that young American. There hasn't been anything between them yet, I'm almost sure. But if the American stays here much longer...
I tell you.
a happy man, this Professor Kraft. His cottage in the country is rather isolated. 3 miles from the nearest house. No electricity or central heating or telephone. And on December nights like this, a great wind comes rushing off the Sussex Downs.
You don't have a fireplace?
It rattles at the windows, growls in the chimney, and makes unsteady the oil lamp on the table. Professor Erwin Kraft sits before the fire in a snug, book-lined room. And across from him, sewing, sits his young wife, Cynthia.
His libraries and fireplaces go together.
A very domestic scene. Oh, my pet, this is wonderful, isn't it? Oh, so nice and cozy. How I enjoy our little home. It's a pleasure to be indoors on a night like this, isn't it?
Yes.
Did my darling have a good day?
Just about as usual.
No adventures, huh?
Not exactly. I walked into the village.
Walked? Oh, I really blame myself for burying you out here. I ought to get your car.
But that's not necessary, thanks.
Come now, come. Did something happen to upset my little pet today?
No.
You know, darling, I look at you and I marvel.
You marvel at what?
At a wife who can actually blush. Yes, with a skin so fair and a conscience so transparent that she can actually blush.
I wasn't blushing about...
About what?
About anything you might be thinking. It's your horrible habit of putting everybody else in the wrong.
Oh, but the neighbors don't think that about Papa Croft.
Neighbors don't have to live with you. I do.
And you mustn't scratch either. Not when we are so snug here, so cozy. And a kettle on the fire's nearly boiling, and the rum is ready, and the lemon juice, and the sugar for her medicine.
Oh, and must I drink that stuff? I don't like rum.
But you have a cold, darling.
I haven't got a cold. Really, I haven't.
Now, darling, twice today I heard you cough. Now, you are going to take your medicine, Cynthia, and take it here and now, and not offend your clumsy old husband by refusing.
Why do you keep on treating me like a girl of 16?
I love to treat you like that, Cynthia, because I cannot fathom your thoughts. You lock up your thoughts, and that is a dangerous English habit. You see, thoughts accumulate,
and won't be stifled. And sooner or later, when you least expect it...
Well, look out, the kettle's boiling over.
So it is.
Owen, please, lift it down from there.
Of course, I apologize. My darling. There.
For a second, you know, you almost frightened me.
Huh?
Does he have running water in this place?
I suppose it's foolish.
Well, here we are, my dear. Here we are. Now, see, I put 2 tumblers on the coffee table. And now, a spoon in each, so that the heat doesn't crack them.
I see, and must you give me so much rum? Can't I have the small one?
But we have to cure that cold of yours, Cynthia. Now comes the lemon juice. Yes. And now comes hot water to the top. Here we are. And 2 lumps of sugar for each of us. There you are, darling. Now let's drink up, huh?
Sounds like a horrible drink.
Listen.
I didn't hear anything.
I did. It came from that cupboard over there. It sounded like your accordion.
Oh, that's nonsense, darling. That's nonsense.
There it is again.
Well, that's only the wind. Or perhaps a rat that got into the cupboard.
Irwin, I'm terrified of rats. Go and kill it. Would you mind?
Oh, you really sit very heavy labors, my sweet, for one of my weight. Well, if you insist, all right. Well, I'll take a good heavy poker from the fireplace. And, of course, it means a little trip through the cupboard.
Irwin, never mind.
You haven't changed your mind, have you?
It'd probably run out across the floor. Come back.
Wouldn't run very far, I'm sure. Well, again, if you insist.
I can't think what's the matter with me tonight.
No?
No.
You're sure nothing upset you in the village today, huh?
Certainly not.
How about this young American, that fledgling doctor, what's his name?
You mean Dr. Craig?
That's it, Dr. Craig. Dr. Craig. Didn't someone say he was leaving today for London and then back to the States?
I believe so. That's what Lady Randolph told me.
And you didn't say goodbye to him?
Certainly not.
Well, that wasn't kind of you, darling. That wasn't friendly. What's the matter? Don't you like my nice hot rum drink?
No. But you'll give me no peace till I do drink it.
That's right, darling. That's right. Now, take it down like a good girl. I'm keeping you company. See? Oh, how pretty she looks. With her yellow hair in the firelight. And her red mouth. And her light little hands. Very pretty. Oh, there is just one other thing, Cynthia. I gave you a letter to post this afternoon. Did you post it?
Yes.
Registered?
Yes.
And did you notice to whom the letter was addressed?
Everybody notices the address on an envelope. It was to some Mr. Hatherby at Market Shepherd.
That's right.
But I don't know who he is, if that's what you mean.
Oh, Mr. Hatherby is the coroner of this district.
The coroner?
That's right. That's right.
But is there any reason why you should be writing letters to the coroner?
Well, there will be tomorrow morning. We have been just drinking poison, my love. Why do you drop your gas, darling?
I don't believe you.
No? This will interest you, Cynthia. You were a trained nurse, and weren't you, you see, the poison was aconite, monk sugar.
No.
Yes, homegrown in our own little garden. You know, 1/16 of a grain has been a fatal dose.
There's no telephone here. No car, not even a neighbor.
Exactly, my angel.
Take your hands off me. Let me get up.
No, my pet. In about 5 minutes, you'll see the first symptoms will come on.
Symptoms?
Yes. Our throats will go dry. Our eyesight will turn dim.
No.
And presently we'll lose the use of our limbs. Well, there are convulsions before the end, I believe, but you won't feel them.
Let me up.
If If you try to hit at me, Angel, you'll upset that lamp. And, well, if you upset the lamp, this cottage would go up like tinder. We don't want to burn to death, do we?
Owen, why are you doing this? Why are you doing it?
Why? Do you think all Papa Kraft is blind, my pet? Huh? If I can't have you, Cynthia, nobody else is going to have you.
You mean Jim Craig?
So it is Jim Craig.
That was nothing. My tongue slipped.
A cynic would say, my dear, that your foot slipped. Do you think I don't know what happened the other night at the schoolhouse?
Schoolhouse?
Yes, the Market Shepherd Schoolhouse. At Lady Randolph's little concert in aid of the war relief.
Nothing happened. I swear it didn't.
No?
No.
Oh, then it was coincidence, I suppose, that you and that Dr. Craig didn't arrive until the concert was nearly over.
Yes. Yes, it was. We didn't go there together.
No?
We met in the little hall outside the auditorium. It was just as you were finishing your number on the accordion.
I beg your pardon. It's so dark here, I almost bumped into you. Isn't that Mrs. Craig?
Yes. Good evening, Dr. Craig.
We seem to be late.
Very late, I'm afraid.
I was detained on a case.
I didn't feel like coming here at all.
But just a moment before I open that door for you. Won't it look a little funny, our arriving here together?
Funny? Why should it?
No reason at all, only... Cynthia, listen to me.
Do you know, Dr. Craig, that's the first time you ever called me by my first name.
I did want to have a word with you somehow. Of course, you've heard the news.
What news?
On the radio for the past couple of days.
We're too far out to get much news, and my husband isn't interested.
He isn't interested? He isn't interested in anything but himself.
I'd rather you didn't talk that way about my husband.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Would you push the door open a little?
And in conclusion,
Lady Randolph is saying something.
I'm sure we've all enjoyed our friend Professor Kraft's musical numbers on the accordion. And the vicar's conjuring tricks. And little Miss Linshaw's spirited recitation. It only remains for me to tell you that the collection for this little entertainment will amount to the...
Under Windsor Castle.
Yes, Colonel Thompson, what is it?
Colonel Thompson's going across the platform in rather a hurry. Looks like an announcement of some kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention. We have just received some late news by the 9 o'clock bulletin.
I think I can guess what it is.
Following yesterday's declaration against Japan, the Congress of the United States today declared war against Germany and Italy. No applause, please. I think I can say that these things go too deep for applause. We entered a war lightly, and we have learned. But before the vicar ends this meeting, I shall ask the orchestra to play us the song numbered 83 in the book. A song we know is dear to the hearts of all Americans.
Close the door, Cynthia.
Jim, this doesn't affect you.
Naturally it does.
You won't be leaving England.
Probably in a very short time. We'll be needing doctors.
But does a formal declaration of war make any difference? What does it mean to you? What does it mean?
I can't explain it, Cynthia. It's all in that song. If they're going to need me, I'll go back.
But can't you do just as much good here in England?
I don't know. That depends on what the army says.
And doesn't anything depend on what I say?
We haven't got much time, Cynthia. That crowd will be out in a minute.
Yes.
And we won't admit it, will we?
Admit what?
Admit how we feel about each other.
I haven't said...
Nor I. I was only talking about what we were thinking.
No, we won't admit it. You say you can't explain about the war. I can't explain about this.
Don't try. It's better this way.
Owen's been very good to me. He's such a childlike person.
Yes.
Everybody likes him.
Oh, he has his tempers, and he's not easy to live with sometimes, in spite of what they think. But I can't do anything to hurt him, because he'd never do anything to hurt me. Never, never, never in the world.
A very fair estimate of my character, too.
That's exactly what I said about you.
So you are in love with that fellow?
I admit it now. Yes.
Tell me, darling, do you feel anything yet?
Feel anything?
I mean, dryness, muscular contraction of the throat?
Yes.
Oh, I thought so.
I won't die. I won't.
And how do you propose to stop yourself? Your only chance would be to reach the village infirmary. And I'll see to it that you don't get there.
But what if the poison takes you before it takes me? Then you can't stop me.
But it won't, darling.
You seem terribly sure of that.
You see, the amount I gave you, as you perhaps noticed, was more than I gave myself. I'm going to follow you, my little pet, into the dark, where there are no Dr. Jim Craigs, but not too quickly. I shall still have most of my faculties, Cynthia, when your convulsions are already beginning. Oh.
I wonder if you will.
Why do you say that?
Your legs don't seem any too steady.
I don't know. It must be the heat of the fire, perhaps, or it's very hot in this room. Cynthia, darling, listen to me.
Yes, Irwin?
There is a copy of Taylor's medical jurisprudence over on the shelf there. Please get it for me.
I'm afraid you'll have to get it for yourself, my dear. That is, if you can.
I'll get it.
Mind the lamp, Irwin. We don't want the house afire, just as you said yourself.
I'll mind the lamp. Listen to me. You know, some people's systems are intolerant to poisons. They experience in minutes what ought to take hours.
Does it hurt, Irwin? Does it hurt?
Yes. But you'll find out soon enough, my pet. Because you'll never make 3 miles to the village. Never.
You think not?
I know it. And just remember, I shall be waiting.
Waiting?
Out in the dark and cold, where there is neither marriage nor giving in marriage. I'll be waiting for my little pet to come and join me. I shall be waiting.
Irwin! Irwin! Oh, I hate you. I loathe you. I'm afraid of you. But I don't want you to die because of me. And yet, you are dead, Irwin. But I'm not going to join you. I've never prayed much, Irwin, but I'm praying now. Whatever comes over my wits and makes my senses weak, give me strength enough to get to the village. Just give me strength enough to get to the village.
They must have wasted that much time telling these stories and flashbacks.
An empty room now, except for the motionless figure by the fire. The great wind enters through an open front door and makes the lamp shake dangerously on the tables. The whole house creaks. Otherwise, it is very quiet.
Why did she bring the lamp?
Suddenly, the corpse sits up. Professor Kraft looks pleased, doesn't he? Very pleased, very alert, as he moves over to a certain cupboard door.
Well, and now I think the real fun can begin. Patience, 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 my friend, while I open the cupboard door. Well, there we are. I hope you haven't been too uncomfortable, Dr. James Craig.
I'm all right, thanks.
So you managed to get the gag out of your mouth, huh?
I managed it, yes, just now. Too late.
Well, you are still securely tied up, I'm glad to say. You know, you gave me several very, very unpleasant moments, young man, when you got your foot on that accordion.
Did I?
Well, Cynthia thought you were a rat and wanted me to kill you. You know, she shows very good sense sometimes.
I could hear both of you talking. Thanks very much.
Of course, you could, of course. Excuse me, please. I forgot that.
Yes, and I could see you, too, through a crack in the door.
Well, we were intended to see it. But now, come on. First of all, I'll drag you out of here. Yes, now, let me take you. Yes. Now we can sit down and have a nice, cozy little chat, huh?
How much aconite did you give Cynthia?
How much? Oh, about 2 grains.
2 grains? Well, then she can't possibly...
No, she can't possibly live until morning. But she can live long enough to testify that she saw me die.
And how much poison did you take yourself?
I? None.
None at all?
No, none at all.
But you mixed those drinks out of the same materials. I saw you do it.
Well, but there wasn't any poison in the rum, young man. You see, 2 lumps of sugar steeped in aconite were dropped into Cynthia's glass. I marked them, and I didn't make a mistake. Can you see the beginnings of Papa Croft's plan?
Why, you...
You see, Cynthia left the door open, my friend. And there is a very strong wind blowing tonight.
Well?
Just observe how it lifts the table covers, flutters the magazines, makes the lamp tremble. I shouldn't be surprised, you know, if one of those lamps blew over. A fine crash in a sheet of flame. Huh? And when they come here tomorrow morning, after Cynthia's testimony and my letter to the coroner, they'll expect to find at least a few charred bones among the ruins. And of course, they must find some remains.
Whose remains?
Yours.
Dumbass.
Yes, you've got me tied up pretty well, haven't you?
And now, you see, now comes the best. You were last seen going towards the railway station, to London, and then to America. Nobody will inquire after you.
Except Cynthia.
That's right, except Cynthia, who will be dead. That I waylaid you and brought you here while Cynthia was in the village will not be known to our good coroner, and I shall disappear. What do you think of it, young man, huh? I think it's rather good, huh?
You're going to let me burn to death?
Yes, and I shall enjoy the necessity. By the way, too bad you missed my performance at Lady Randall's concert. It was very nice. But then I think you were otherwise occupied.
You could call it that.
Occupied, I think, in making love to my wife. You hurt my vanity, young man, and you are going to suffer for it.
I never made love to your wife.
No?
No. But I don't suppose you could possibly believe that.
Are you already begging for mercy? Now, come on. Are you begging for mercy?
No, I think not.
Dr. Craig, I don't like the way you're taking this. I really don't.
Don't you?
No. You ought to be afraid. All decent men should be afraid. And no man is heroic when he sees death coming. But you're as white as a plate. Can't take your eyes off me. And you seem to be expecting something.
Maybe I am expecting something.
Well,
behind him, right?
I think I can persuade you to tell me what's on your mind, my friend. If I use the poker out of the fire, huh? You see, I'm a mathematician. I leave nothing to chance.
Do you hear that, Professor Kraft? A car has stopped out in front.
Well, they won't come in here.
Yeah, but of course they will. It's probably the Home Guard. Look, you fool, you've left the front door standing wide open in a blackout.
Don't be childish. Do you think to upset me with that?
Something's upset you. Take a look at yourself in the mirror.
Huh? Nothing. Nothing can upset my plans now. Everything is ready. My clothes and my money are in the stable. This place, this pretty little cottage, will be a furnace. All I have to do is pick up that lamp. You see, like this, and something is wrong with me.
You're not acting this time, are you? You're not pretending now.
You swine! What have you done? You have done something to me. I can feel it. There is sweat all over me. My throat choking.
Through the gate and up the path.
That sounded like my wife's voice.
It was Cynthia's voice.
What is wrong with you? A person would think you were drunk. I'm sorry, Lady Randall, stopping me in the road and asking to be taken to the infirmary at 80 miles an hour, and then finding there was nothing wrong with you.
But it can be. It isn't possible.
Oh, but it is. You see, your plans didn't include the fact that Cynthia doesn't like rum. Remember, you poured a very large drink for her and a small one for yourself. And you filled both glasses with hot water. Oh, remember when she got you to leave her and come over to this cupboard? She changed the glasses then. You're the one who swallowed the poison, 2 grains of aconite.
No. Help me. Please. Help me.
Nothing on earth can save you.
Help me, please. In the name of Peter, please. Please help me.
Nothing on earth can save you.
No. You won't. Then I'll show you. I'll take you with me. I'll take everybody with me.
Where are you going?
I'll get that lamp. I'll take you with me.
Why, look at you. You can't even see. You're blind. You're staggering straight into that cupboard.
I'll take you. I'll take you with me. I'll take you.
Jim, what are you doing here?
Come in, Cynthia. Come in and take a look at the man who died twice.
And so ends Till Death Do Us Part, starring Peter Lorre. Tonight's story of suspense. Columbia presents these tales of mystery and intrigue and dangerous adventure for your relaxation and enjoyment. Next Tuesday, there'll be another in this series. Same hour, 9:30 Eastern Wartime. Mr. Lorre was starred as Professor Kraft. He was supported by Alice Frost as Cynthia, David Gothard as Dr. Craig, and Mercedes McCambridge as Lady Randolph. William Spear, the producer, John Dietz, the director, Bernard Herrmann, the composer-conductor, and John Dixon Carr, the author, are collaborators on Suspense.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
X-1. X-1. Come on. Come on, Skynet. Help me out. Nobody else does.
You're listening to Chin Radio AM 1540, the voice of multicultural Toronto, bringing you the latest updates on COVID-19. Stay informed, stay safe, and stay tuned to Chin Radio AM 1540.
Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. And Bluster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous.
There has to be something.
Out on it all the time. So maybe we're talking about you know,
and I hate you too. I hate you more than Miss Brooke.
include holding virtual gatherings, limiting family meals and face-to-face gatherings to no more than 10 people, and avoiding face-to-face gatherings with anyone showing coronavirus symptoms. So this is the situation, and actually, we know that every year, nearly during the typical Spring Festival holidays, the country manages more than 400 million train trips, a lot, or about 3 billion trips if road, air, and boat travel for a 40-day period is taken into account. And back in 2020, December the 30th, the China State Railway Group estimated that about 400 million trips would be taken between January 28th and March the 8th this year, 2021. But the company scaled back its forecast to 296 million after the national campaign calling for workers to stay put in the big cities because of the recent, surfacing of some new cases, more than 100 new cases a day, putting authorities on alert and people on alert after a long break from the cases of community transmission. So this is the very new consideration for people to think about and to decide upon. And what interesting thing is, most recently we have come across some of the stories and news from those companies, especially in the big cities like Shanghai, like Beijing, that some companies in the cities are giving their employees or workers some financial incentives. In Chinese, we call it yearly, when it comes to Spring Festival, 红包, the red envelopes, the big bonus, including the shopping vouchers and cash bonuses, free admission to local attractions, and subsidies for phone calls and streaming to really lure the employees and their workers to stay put.
I think it's good. Your company will offer some red envelopes if you choose to stay in your city where you work and live instead of traveling long distance back home. Just go.
If my name ever goes down into history, it'll be for this act, and my whole soul is in it.
I don't know what that means.
No. They're very safe for one party or another. So having a challenger more from your own extreme, like a Republican challenger more to the right or Democratic challenger more to the left, is more of a threat than actually facing the other party. So because of that, I consider myself a moderate Republican, but basically I think that both parties are heading more toward.
You better brush off your finger. We haven't vacuumed the doorbell in months.
You're so witty, darling. But I just wanted to tell you that in spite of our little differences in the past, I see no reason why we can't be more friendly in the new year, which is practically upon us.
Well, I'm sure that
As a matter of fact, I'll bring with me Miss Brooks. Here, I'd like you to have this ticket.
Ticket? To what, Miss Enright?
To the Fireman's Ball. My Aunt Jessie bought it weeks ago, but the poor darling just doesn't feel up to going this year. And rather than waste the ticket, we immediately thought of you. Auntie says it's a lot of fun for spinsters.
What time will you be there? Look, Miss Enright, I don't believe that an unmarried girl should consider herself a spinster until she reaches a certain age.
Well, don't be testy, darling. I'm sure you won't reach that age for months yet. Now, take the ticket and have a good time tomorrow night.
Oh, it's for tomorrow night. Now, that's a coincidence. The bowl dance is being held tomorrow night in Clay City, and one of us is supposed to chaperone that affair.
But I'm virtually assured of that.
Break her leg and say she
What makes you think so?
Oh, I could tell from dear Mr. Compton's reaction to my visit yesterday. You see, I dropped into his office after school with a little gift for him. I always like to give out my Christmas presents early.
What potential chaperone doesn't? What did you give Mr. Conklin?
I gave him a lovely pair of woolen socks.
Woolen socks?
Yes, he was very appreciative. Seemed genuinely touched. But that's what I like about our principal anyway. He has such a warm heart. Don't you think so, Miss Brooks?
I don't know about his heart, but he's going to have the warmest feet in Clay City. I've got to have a few words with Mr. Conklin before my first class, Walter. Do you think we'll arrive at school in time?
I'll get you there in time to talk his arm off, Miss Brooks. You shouldn't worry about that job as chaperone. There's absolutely no doubt that you'll be chosen.
According to Harriet, it's still between Miss Enright and me.
But Miss Brooks, anybody who could possibly pick Miss Enright over you for any kind of position should have Mr. Conklin's head examined. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion that he'll take you. And the dance ought to be a lot of fun tomorrow night. Harriet and I have promised each other every dance, except maybe one or two she'll have to give Mr. Boynton.
Oh, then Mr. Boynton is definitely going.
I thought you knew. Yeah, he got his ticket Monday right after we were chosen to play in the bowl. He's followed the team through thick and thin, Miss Brooks. That's why you've just got to go tomorrow.
Well, how can I, Walter, unless I'm chosen chaperone?
Well, easy. You can still buy a ticket.
It's not that easy. There's only a limited supply, you know.
Of tickets?
Of money. And tickets. They're probably all sold out by now.
Oh, don't worry, Miss Brooks. We'll figure something out. But to get back to Mr. Conklin for a second. Since we've been chosen to play in the bowl, he's definitely lid-flipping material.
Lid-flipping material?
He's on his entire court, Miss Brooks. Every time I turn around, I get another memo. Look at this last communique he sent me yesterday afternoon.
Let's see it, Walter. From the office of the principal to the manager, such as he is, of the football team. As per my prior instructions, have you made sure the members of the school band are bringing their instruments? What does he think they're going to play on, tissue paper and combs? Not that it wouldn't be an improvement. Mr. Conklin is a man of many memos these days.
He sure is, Miss Brooks. But there isn't much we can do about it. After all, a school principal is a school principal.
I guess you're right, Walter. But under another set of circumstances, Mr. Conklin and I might get along beautifully.
What kind of circumstances, Miss Brooks?
If he were the principal of Madison High and I was an English teacher in Budapest.
Come in. Oh, it's you, Miss Brooks. What can I do for you?
Do you really want to know, Mr. Conklin?
No, it was just a figure of speech. Please be brief. I've got a lot on my mind.
Yes, sir. I'd like you to accept this little Christmas present, Mr. Conklin. I wanted you to have it early.
Thank you, Miss Brooks. What is it?
Well, it's a sort of surprise, a timely surprise.
As a man who suffers from hypertension, Miss Brooks, I find that surprises do very little for me. What's in the package?
Well, I'll give you a hint, Mr. Conklin. You received a present from another teacher yesterday, isn't that right?
Yes.
Well, if you had that present on and then put my present on, you'd be wearing a very bloated pair of shoes. Here, I'll just put it away in your closet. Oh, while I'm at it, I could clean out this closet for you, Mr. Conklin.
No, thank you, Miss Brooks. Miss Enright did that for me yesterday. As you know, I'm going to choose one of you as the chaperone for the trip tomorrow. I'll make my final decision at lunchtime.
Very good, Mr. Conklin. Have you completed all arrangements for tomorrow?
Practically. I've just finished another memo for those directly concerned with the trip. I call it Schedule A. Would you like to hear it?
Not
it reads at 7:30 a.m. Band members and cheerleaders under supervision of female chaperone will leave on bus number 1. Second half of contingent will be personally conducted by me and will leave at 8 o'clock on bus number 2. Signed, Osgood Cochran.
That certainly is explicit. I must say, Mr. Conklin, these memos of yours are a wonderful idea. Why, this schedule lists all the instructions so clearly and concisely that there couldn't possibly be the slightest confusion.
I'm quite slippery on this side, Miss Brooks. Perhaps you should start buttering up the other.
Mr. Conklin, it's just that I realize that there's more to this expedition than the honor of being invited to a bowl football game. And I want you to know that I'm ready, willing, and able to accept the great responsibility, the hard work, and the free ticket that goes with it.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith. Now, proof that brushing teeth right after eating with Colgate Dental Cream helps stop tooth decay before it starts. Continuous research, hundreds of case histories, makes this the most conclusive proof in all dentifrice research on tooth decay. Eminent dental authorities supervised hundreds of college men and women for over 2 years. One group always brushed their teeth with Colgate right after eating. The other followed their usual dental care. The group using Colgate Dental Cream as directed, using Colgate's exclusively, showed a startling reduction in average number of cavities, far less tooth decay. The other group developed new cavities at a much higher rate. No other dentifrice offers proof of these results. Modern research shows decay is caused by mouth acids, which are at their worst right after eating. Brushing teeth with Colgate as directed helps remove acids before they harm enamel. Yes, Colgate contains all the necessary ingredients, including an exclusive patented ingredient for effective daily dental care. So remember, always use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay.
Well, when lunch period started, I made my last bid for Mr. Conklin's favor. I went to the school cafeteria and filled a tray with the best food available, then carried it down to his office so he could have his lunch in private. The door was ajar, so I walked right in. Surprise!
Oh, it's you, Miss Brooks. Come in.
Yes, do come in, darling. Miss Enright, what are you doing here?
Miss Enright was thoughtful enough to bring me some food from the cafeteria so I could have my lunch in private. Wasn't that sweet of her?
Sweet and swift.
What's that you have on the tray, Miss Brooks?
This? Oh, I just thought you might like a little dessert, Mr. Conklin.
What sort of dessert?
Roast loin of pork. How terribly middle class.
Well, it looks delicious, but I've just finished a Swiss steak that Miss Enright brought me. I've got to watch my weight.
Oh, then I'll just take it back.
Put it down on my desk. I have a long day ahead of me. Now then, you're both wondering, no doubt, as to which of you is my final choice for the position of chaperone at the Clay City game and dance.
Well, there's no hurry about it, Mr. Conklin. If you want to... Who?
Well, it's not you, Miss Brooks.
Then you mean...
No, it's not you either, Miss Enright. I've decided that the ideal chaperone for this trip is Mrs. Conklin.
Mrs. Conklin? Your wife?
An amazing deduction. Yes, the thought occurred to me this morning while I was mulling over a memo that the chaperone for girls should be a married woman. That eliminated Miss Enright, of course. And unless there's been a sudden and radical upheaval in your existence, you're not married either, Miss Brooks.
You're so right, Mr. Conklin. But if you'll excuse me now, I've got something very important to do in the cafeteria.
What's that, Miss Brooks?
I've got to start engineering a sudden and radical upheaval in my existence.
Get sickle cell. Do that now. Patterns on my feet change.
Mr. Boynton. Well, this is a coincidence.
What is, Miss Brooks?
My running into you like this, after only 5 minutes of stalking. But, Mr. Boynton, I wanted to talk to you about the weekend. Have you any plans?
Plans? Certainly, Miss Brooks. I've got a ticket to the cereal bowl game at Clay City.
But that's 80 miles away, Mr. Boynton. And I understand the trip is being made in buses, those drafty, old-fashioned buses.
Well, they're not so bad, and the game should be a lot of fun.
Fun? Bucking those crowds? Then when you do get in, you have to sit on hard wooden benches with your feet on cold cement. And do you know what a breeding place for germs a mob of people can be?
But, Miss Brooks, people go to football games all the time and never catch anything.
Some people stay home and never catch anything. Look, Mr. Boynton, this game is for kids.
But there's a dance afterwards for everybody.
Fine dance. You know who's going to play the music for it? our school orchestra. And have you heard them rehearsing lately?
Well, no, I haven't.
I have. They were running through Mule Train the other day, and the only instruments on key were the whips.
I'm surprised at this attitude of yours, Miss Brooks. I thought you'd be keen to go. Didn't you even buy a ticket?
Buy a ticket? I wouldn't go to that clam bake if somebody gave me a ticket. Besides, there's a new movie coming to the Strand tomorrow that all the papers say may get the Academy Award. It's called All the King's Men. You wouldn't want to miss that, would you?
Well, I'll see that later on, Miss Brooks. And now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to get back to my laboratory before class starts. Some things I want to pack away for the weekend.
Go ahead, Mr. Boynton.
Well, I'll see you before I go, won't I? There's no hard feelings.
Oh, certainly not. No reason why you shouldn't go where you want to go when you want to go there. Is there?
I guess not. See you later, Miss Brooks.
Toodle. But instead I'll trust him implicitly. He can go where he wants to go, do what he wants to do. I don't care. My affection.
Excuse me, Miss Brooks, but I've got the most wonderful news for you. May I sit down for a minute?
Why, certainly, Harriet. What's the news?
Daddy just talked to Mother on the phone, and she doesn't feel up to going along tomorrow. So he picked you to chaperone the girls.
Me? What made him decide on me?
Well, to be perfectly honest about it, Miss Brooks, Daddy flipped a coin. He said if it was heads, you'd go, and tails, Miss Enright would go.
And the coin came up heads?
3 times. Now, here's your ticket, Miss Brooks. This is good not only for the game, but a round-trip ride on the bus and admission to the dance.
Oh, I can hardly believe it.
Oh, this is a real break, Miss Brooks. You've got just utterly the last ticket in school. Oh, one more thing. Here's another memo.
7:30 a.m. Band members and cheerleaders under supervision of female chaperones. Yeah, I know, Harriet. In fact, I knew Schedule B when it was only Schedule A. If you'll pardon me, Harriet, I've got to tell someone about the news you just brought me.
Oh, Miss Brooks.
Oh, someone.
All right, Miss Brooks. And I know Mr. Boynton will be tickled to hear it.
Come in. Oh, hello, Miss Brooks.
After you left, Mr. Boynton, I got to thinking about our conversation.
Me too, Miss Brooks. And I've decided that I'm not going on the Clay City trip after all.
You're not going?
No, I'm selling my ticket to Mr. LeBlanche, the French teacher.
Selling your ticket? But, Mr. Boynton, you're missing the trip of the century. Cozy modern buses, the thrill of personal contact with that adorable horde of people at the stadium. And then there's the game itself. Tense, exciting action, viewed from comfy, form-fitting beaverboard seats.
Just a minute, Miss Brooks. Are you going tomorrow?
Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
But you said in the cafeteria that you wouldn't go if somebody gave you a ticket. What made you change your mind?
Somebody gave me a ticket.
Miss Brooks, what about all the King's men?
All the King's men couldn't drag me away from Clay City tomorrow. I'm surprised that you don't feel the same way.
Well, I would like to root for the old team, but I promised Mr. LeBlanche the ticket, and once I make a promise, I keep it. Well, don't worry about me, Miss Brooks. I'll find something to do. I'll probably take Miss Enright to a movie or something.
Miss Enright?
Well, yes, she loves movies, you know.
She loves sitting in movies. There's a difference. Honestly, Mr. Boynton, I just can't understand you sometimes.
How do you mean, Miss Brooks?
Well, doesn't being with the old team mean more to you than being with old Enright? Not that there's anything wrong with Miss Enright, that a little chicanery, which I'm about to indulge in, couldn't eliminate, along with Miss Enright.
I'm afraid I don't follow you, Miss Brooks.
Let's keep it that way, Mr. Boynton, at least temporarily. I'll see you in a little while.
Yeah, but Miss Brooks, you...
Hiya, Miss Brooks. I've been looking all over for you. Mr. Conklin wants you to read this memo right away.
Oh, let's see that, Walter. Schedule C. At 7:30 a.m., band members and cheerleaders will board bus number 1. Oh, great. I don't have to read this. I know this schedule backwards.
You don't sound very enthusiastic about being chosen chaperone, Miss Brooks.
Frankly, Walter, I'm not.
So why not?
Well, it's a long, dull story in which the heroine cuts her own throat. But boiled down, it reads, Mr. Boynton isn't going. Now I'm stuck with a ticket for a trip I don't even want to make.
Hello, Miss Brooks. Walter.
Oh, it's you.
Hi, Miss Enright. If you ladies will excuse me, I've got to get over to the supply room and pick up some megaphones. We can finish our conversation in a few minutes, Miss Brooks.
Thanks a million, Walter.
Hello. Mr. Compton told me that you won the toss, Miss Brooks, and I suppose good sportsmanship demands that I offer my congratulations.
Well, thank you, Miss Enright. That is very sporting of you.
Of course, I have enough money in the bank to go on my own, but there just isn't a ticket to be had.
I know there isn't. Wait a minute. What would this ticket be worth to you, Miss Enright?
Why, do you have an extra one, Miss Brooks?
Would you give $5 for a ticket, Miss Enright? It includes bus fare and admission to the dance, you know.
Well, that sounds eminently fair, Miss Brooks. Here's the $5.
And here's the ticket. Well, I have to be running along now, Miss Enright. Hope you have a nice time over the weekend.
Oh, I'm sure we'll all have a nice time. You and Mr. Boynton and myself.
I'm sure we will, Miss Enright. Goodbye.
I wonder where she got this ticket. Hi, Miss Enright. Well, I got all the equipment and stuff, and I did.
Where did Miss Brooks go? I wanted to cheer her up a little.
Cheer her up?
Yeah, she seemed kind of blue because Mr. Boynton isn't going to the game tomorrow.
Mr. Boynton is... So that's why she sold me the ticket. Walter, could I borrow one of those pennants you've got there?
Oh, sure, Miss Enright. What kind do you want?
Any kind, just so it's nice and sharp.
Come in.
It's me again, Miss Boynton. There's something I'd like
I'm glad
to...
you came back, Miss Brooks. I've been thinking this over very carefully. I've decided that I've just got to go and root for our team tomorrow. No, those kids would never forgive me if I didn't come. Mr. LeBlanc will just have to understand.
You don't mean it, Mr. Boynton. You can't mean that you're going to ride 80 miles in a drafty old... and then buck a germ-ridden mob for the privilege of watching 22 untalented children run into each other while you're sitting on a stone bench with your feet in your pockets.
I'm sorry, Miss Brooks, you can't talk me out of it this time. I'm going to the ball tomorrow or bust.
Oh, but Mr. Boynton...
May I come in, Mr. Boynton? It's Miss Enright.
Stay right where you are, Miss Enright. I'll come out. Excuse me, Miss Boynton.
Well, what is all this?
Miss Brooks, I thought I'd find you here.
I know what you're thinking, Miss Enright, and you're perfectly justified in being annoyed with me, but I'd like to make it up to you if you'll let me.
What do you mean, Miss Brooks?
Here's your $5 back. Give me the ticket.
Well, I didn't expect you to be this honest. Here you are, Miss Brooks.
Thank you.
Oh, hello, Miss Enright.
Oh, hello, Mr. Boynton. I understand you're going... How about taking in a movie together tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm afraid that's out of the question, Miss Enright. I'm going to Clay City tomorrow with the team.
Well, Miss Brooks, you've done it again. That's 2 touchdowns for you already.
Don't add up the score yet. I'm hoping to make some conversions tomorrow.